This is part one to my scam series on how I was defrauded and swindled out of close to $4,000 by a Facebook dating swindler. I'm just going to tell my story in full detail, and I know I'm probably going to be judged. So what? It is what it is. But this is my truth. I'm trying to currently heal from it. I'm very traumatized from this situation. I am in therapy and I am on multiple anxiety medicines. So to help myself grow through what I went through, I'm just speaking my story and my truth. So basically, I met a guy through Facebook dating app, and he swiped on me first, and then I matched with him. We wrote back and forth. I gave him my number. He started texting me, and immediately he's telling me how he has commercial buildings and that he was meeting up with clients at the moment. And I replied back and said that I'd love to be on that status one day because I was trying to enter entrepreneurship as well. He tells me, let's meet up and let's talk money. Cool. After so many texts back and forth, he eventually FaceTimes. We're talking back and forth on FaceTime. And he's just telling me all the little things like he just can't believe I have a boyfriend and da-da-da. And then he's asking and trying to see if I'm really coming to see him or if I'm playing. I wasn't serious at first. I was procrastinating and I was just hesitant. I just had got out of a 6-month relationship about a year prior. So I was still kind of fresh on the scene. So it was whatever. But I eventually got ready, and right after we got off the phone, he's asking me what I like to drink and making it seem like he was going to get a bottle. I get down there, and right when I get there, I'm on the phone with my best friend, and I'm telling him I'm outside, and he immediately comes out and walks up to my car, like walks up on my car. I didn't even notice or see him, and it kind of startled me, but we just introduced each other, talked back and forth. It was nothing. We go up to his apartment complex to the 5th floor. It was like a lounge area where anyone could just hang out. TV, it was really nice. We're just up there chopping up, talking, wasn't thinking anything. We're just having casual conversation, getting to know each other. So after that was my refresher. After so long, just talking back and forth, I had noticed that, of course, there wasn't any liquor bottle. He didn't get anything. And when I brought it to his attention, he had said that how he'd been running around all day and how he didn't feel like going to the liquor store. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And I pulled out my Douce bottle that I had already had. I had said basically that I was hungry. And before I even came as well, I had asked if we could grab something to eat. So by the time I got there and we were talking, chilling, drinking, I was like developing an appetite. And I said that I was hungry and I was ready to go eat. And we go out. We walk to the nearest Goodfellas. It was right around the corner. Go inside. It's kind of packed. So we're like, okay, whatever, let's check out the upstairs. It was a bar upstairs. Walk upstairs. I don't know if he wasn't feeling the vibe. I don't know what was going on, but he was ready to go back out. So I was like, okay, cool. We were halfway down the steps and he was telling me how he didn't have his ID on him. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. He said we were going to go back to his apartment and get the ID. He had stopped by my car because I told him I had some things in my car. He was like insisting that I just, no, don't leave that in your car. Bring it up to my apartment. Okay. So we stop by my car. I get the stuff out of there. We go back up to his apartment. So now we're inside his apartment. He goes into bathroom room, wherever it was, because it was connected. And I was just stood by the door. I wasn't moving. I wasn't paying attention to anything. I was just minding my business. I just met this person. I do not want to make it seem like I'm on anything in this person's house. Then he comes back out. I leave my purse on his couch. We head back out. We go back down and we're walking back towards Goodfellas, but he wasn't really feeling it. So he's like, let's go somewhere else. So I said, okay, cool. We go across the street. There was another piece of spot. Get inside. Immediately when we get inside, he picks up his phone and he says that he has a business call. Okay, I didn't think anything of it. Just continued and looked at the menu, whatever, talked to the waitress. But I was peeping. I could see him peeping. Wasn't really no big deal. Comes back to the table. We order. I say, I want the quesadillas. And he was saying that he was fasting, so he wasn't hungry, but that he was still eat some mozzarella sticks. So I ordered those for us as well. We ordered together, basically, and chopped it up, sat there. The vibes were good. We talked about family. I talked about me going to school. We talked about where we were from. He told me that he was from LA. I asked him about childhood memories, the parts of where he was from, about his siblings, his family, etc., etc. Telling me how he has a bunch of condos in different places and he has family in different places, etc., etc. He asked for the check. The waitress brings us the check and he picks up the check from the table, looks at it, puts it back down, and slides the check in front of me and says, "Oh, that's nothing. I can cash out you that." And I was like, okay. That was the second red flag, because the first red flag was he came and was wearing a dingy shirt, basketball shorts, and slides. I'm not one to judge, but I was just like, for your first time meeting up with someone, especially about business, if it's whatever, you're going to come looking like that, but whatever. So yeah, second red flag was that. But I just was like, okay, I'm not going to think nothing of it. Said you're going to pay me back. Okay, I'm not going to trip about $15, getting back $15 basically. Pull my wallet out and I pay. So we leave. Go back to the 5th floor, not his apartment, but the 5th floor of the apartment complex, where it's the little lounge area. And we began drinking my Douce bottle again, finished the Douce bottle. We're just, again, chopping it up, getting to know each other. And he's telling me about how he has 19 different Airbnb properties all over the U.S. He has commercial buildings. He has clients. He travels, etc., etc. He was telling me how he could help me start my own Airbnb, how I should put my apartment on Airbnb, etc., etc. Then we began talking about past relationships. I told him about my past relationship. Then he began to tell me about his past relationship. He was saying how his ex was lazy, how she lived up underneath him. He paid all the bills. She didn't do anything but basically just sleep all day. And he was saying that she would nag a lot and that he just wasn't really interested in her anymore because of the way she acted and she was just too problematic. He said that he was just looking for a girl to just sit back and count the money and just enjoy life with him. And I was just like, I can dig that. And that's when he began telling me how he was feeling me, how he wanted me to run all of his businesses, how we're going to start businesses together, how we're just going to get to this money. And it was just sounding good. We was drinking, we were vibing. He was just making it all sound good. And then he was telling me, yeah, don't let what I have on fool you. I can still get dressed, put that on. I seen the pictures on the Facebook dating app. He looked like he was taking care of himself. So I didn't think nothing of it when I seen him dressed the way he was, because I was like, maybe he's just down right now. So whatever. He's telling me how he had just got back from Puerto Rico. He's showing me pictures, videos of his trip. And then he's telling me how he has his own liquor brand. Then I'm asking him, well, show me the liquor. He's showing me the liquor. And then I'm asking, well, can I taste some? But he's telling me that he didn't have any. He told me that he basically just moved from LA down here to Kentucky. And he said that he didn't have any on him. It was back in one of his condos in Arizona. Telling me how the alcohol that he distilled, he went to Mexico, and just the process, and et cetera, et cetera. And which I went to school for that. So I just thought we were vibing and having similarities. The vibe gets to go in and we get to get in flirtatious, and one thing leads to another, of course. And we go back down to his apartment complex, and that was the only time that I was consensual with him. And after that, everything seemed fine. And even before all that happened, we had already discussed how he said that he had to get up early around like 4 a.m. for a business. He had to meet clients and do stuff, etc. So once we got finished, I just didn't think nothing of it. We were sitting there just chilling, flirting back and forth, talking, end of the night, basically. So as he was walking me back down to my car, he's telling me to share my location and to let me know, of course, when I make it home. I didn't think nothing of it. I was just thinking, okay, well, he's really feeling me, so I'm going to just share my location. I'm not thinking nothing of it. I call my best friend, and of course, I tell her, and she's telling me, like, no, that's a red flag. But I don't think nothing of it. I'm just thinking, like, maybe, he just wants to be cautious of me and make sure that I'm safe. But yeah, I make it home, and I'll be back for part 2 for the next day.
Like Risa Teresa said, this story is the United Nations of red flags. It was so many red flags. I was, for sure, colorblind. I'm just so upset with myself that I really let somebody get over on me like that. Like, I was just a literal green light, a walking green light. It's sad because I really know better, but I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And, like, I never in my wildest dream would have expected somebody to lie about their entire being and identity. Like, I watch shit like that on TV. I would have never expected that shit to happen to me. Like, I literally ran into somebody with a narcissistic personality disorder. So yeah, this is part 2 to my scam series on how I was defrauded and swindled out of close to $4,000 by the Facebook dating Swindler. So I got back home that night. Nothing happened to me. Everything was fine. The next morning, he texted me and asked if I was good. And I said, yeah, I'm good. How are you feeling? And he said, I'm feeling like it's time for us to get in our bag. So I said, yeah, it is. And I'm ready to follow your lead. Just tell me what's up, what you need me to do. He replies and says, I need you to be transparent about where you're at in life right now. I said, I'm definitely not where I want to be right now. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go back and finish my master's degree, trying to figure out my next game plan. I said, but my finances are stable, and I'll tell you whatever else you wanted to know. Then he replies and says, you got money saved up. I did not think anything of it. Yes, dumb, stupid, ignorant, naive, etc., etc., etc. Keep going. So I was just trying to be upfront coming into something new because of how I was just so conservative about my finances in my previous relationship. So I was completely honest, and I told him about how I didn't have any money saved up at the time, but I'm good with managing money. I told him about how I had just made some money off of, I had created my own TikTok shop, and I profited off that. And I just let him know pretty much like a little rundown. And at the end, I had basically said that I had a short-term goal by the end of the month that I basically just wanted to have some different motion. And he had replied and said, let's get it. So I just thought it was all good intentions. So I replied a corny reply. I just sent back the He Glock song, Let's Go. And then I was like, but nah, for real, I'm really ready to get to the money. And by getting to the money, I mean by starting my own Airbnb business. So I replied back and said, I'm loyal. Just wait and see. When you talk to me, you won't have to worry about anything while talking to me. I had said, I'll take care of you and I'll do what you need me to do. That was my worst mistake. That's when I activated the green light for him, basically. I was on a cloud thinking that I'm about to be talking to somebody again and be with somebody again. So I just was out of here. Always feeling like I have to prove myself to men, and that's my biggest mistake. But anyways, so he replies back and asks and says, so you're going to Detroit tomorrow? And I reply back and say, yeah, but I thought he was meaning ride with him to Detroit. Then I asked if he was coming to see me later because the previous night when I was there, he said that he wanted to come over to my place. That's what made me feel like he was interested in me, because I was like, he's ready to see me again. So he says, yeah, and then I just say back, okay, bet, have a good day. So then he texts me a couple hours later and says some sexual flirtatious things, and we go back and forth. Then I ask, do you want me to cook? And he says it's all good. Then I ask and say, what time do you think you're coming? No response. So I let a couple hours go by, and then I texted him with the eyes. The eyes emoji, if you don't know what I'm talking about. He says he's waiting on a play, then he's going to come. And I say, okay. Then he calls and he says that he might have somebody send some money to my phone. I was thinking, cool, I'm about to get my $15 back. I mean, something. But that's not what it was. It says to me to send a screenshot of my profile on Zelle. So I sent a screenshot of where it just says my name and my number. But my number showed up as my old house phone number. He texts and says, that's not your number. And I had to let him know, like, it's not that one. It's underneath my house number. He then says, okay, pull up real quick so I can pull the money out with you when they send it. And I'm like, real quick? We are an hour and a half apart. That's not real quick, one. And two, you're supposed to be coming to see me. So I am so confused. So then I said my ATM limit is only $200 a day, and I would have to call and increase it if I wanted to, and that they were closed for the day. Then I asked again, are you still coming? No response. Then I texted again, the eyes emoji. And he replies back to me a screenshot of a conversation that he's having with somebody. I guess trying to show me a business conversation. He asked the person, whoever he was texting, and said the meeting went smooth, and they replied back and said, yes, sir. And then they said, okay, we're going to Zelle you the $2,500, or can we Cash App it to you? So when he sent the screenshot, he said underneath it, hold on, I'm trying to do something. So I backed off. I said, okay. No response. Sat there and waited. Then I responded again, and I said, are you still coming? Not trying to bug you. No response. Then I texted again, I could leave my key in the car for you if you're still coming. No response. So then he texts me at 12:24 a.m. and asked me if I'm up. And I was asleep. So then when I woke up to use the bathroom, I had seen the text message, and I was like, yeah, I'm up now. Of course, no response. The next morning, I waited all morning, and I didn't hear from him. So then I texted, and I asked and said, what's up? So then he replies back and says, what's up, baby? We got moved today, and I might need a favor. I instantly called him. No answer. I was like, okay. Texted, and I was like, I just called you, but what's up? And so he then asked me to go and buy him something that I'm not going to say, and I'll give you the money back. I tried to call him, no answer. So then I said, you need to call me. So he calls me and we talk and we get off the phone, and then he texts me and he says, what did you ensure your location for? And I said, because I figured you wasn't serious. You didn't turn yours on, and I just figured I should turn mine off. And I said, I'm really big on communication, so as long as you communicate with me, we good. He replies and says, don't start acting weird. I fuck with you. And I said, I'm not acting weird, but you just need to answer the phone when I call you, or at least call me back. And he replied back and he agreed. And then he said again, let's go to Detroit today. I replied back and I said, okay, I'll get ready. And then that's when he called me and he asked me if I was going to come and bring him what I had just bought for him. So I was like, okay, yeah. And we got off the phone, and then I texted him and I said, I'm about to get on the road. Texted me and said, are you on the road yet? But I had told him before we got off the phone, like right when after I get ready, I'm just going to be on my way. So I replied back and I said I'm 30 minutes away. So I pull up to his apartment. I'm trying to find a parking space, but I couldn't find a parking space. And then I eventually found one, and I called and I asked and I said, is it okay if I come up and use the bathroom? And he spazzes out on me. And I was like, what the heck? He instantly goes into, you always gotta pee and da da da, because basically when we met the first night, when I got there, I had asked and said I needed to use the bathroom. And when we got up on the 5th floor, the lounge area, he had showed me where the bathroom was. So fast forward to now, he's like, you always gotta pee, and what you want? What you just trying to come in here and see my house? What you trying to see what I'm doing? Da da da. No, it's not even that. And he was like, I'm sure there's a place around there that you can go use the bathroom at. And I was like, you're really tripping, but okay, cool. Another red flag, because I should have known. Why would a dude trip about you using the bathroom? Especially because I just drove an hour and a half down here to see you. And I just bought you something. Did you a favor. That's when I should have known. Stupid. So then it was a little bar right where I parked at. And I go in and use the bathroom at the bar. And when I come out, he's standing right there in my car. He has his laptop in his hand. He has all his chargers, his phone, all this little stuff that he has in his hand. And when I walk up, I'm like, I didn't know that I was driving. And he doesn't reply to me. And I'm like, okay, open the door. Well, I unlock my doors. He gets in the car. We both get in the car. I'm like, I didn't know I was driving. What's going on? He says, man, this dude just came to pick my car up because he's wrapping it matte black, like a paint job. And he said that he was upset because he left his key fob to his apartment complex and his wallet in his car. So I'm back with part 3 on how I was defrauded and swindled out of close to $4,000 by the Facebook dating swindler. So anyways, back to the story. So I left off at when he said that he left his key fob to his apartment and his wallet in the car that somebody had came to pick up to wrap matte black, like a color paint job on the car. And in my head, I'm just thinking there's just absolutely no way that a man would leave his wallet in the car. I just tried to believe what he was saying and give him the benefit of the doubt. And so we're just going back and forth, and then he's saying to me, but, oh, you said we was running Detroit today anyway. But I was saying, no, you didn't say that I was driving. And he was like, well, you didn't ask either. And I was like, well, you didn't ask either. So clearly it's just miscommunication on both parts. We end up going back and forth. And then he's saying, you're upset about that. I'm the one who's upset. I can't get back into my apartment, and I don't got my fucking wallet. He was like literally the moment I walked out the apartment and then I shut the door, it was a wrap. There was no way I could get back inside the apartment. So that's when I began to feel a little sorry for him, and I eased up off of him. And then that's when he asked, did you bring what you bought me? And I was like, yes, I showed him. And then he asked, well, why didn't I get other things for what I had bought? And I was like, well, you didn't ask me to do that. So then he's like, well, let's find a store, put an address, and go to a store and get that. He finds a store, we put the address in, and now we're on the way. We go all the way to the store, we get inside, and we find what we're looking for. And as we're walking to the counter to pay, he hands it to me. And then in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, so he really don't have his wallet or have no type of money, nothing on him, so he's about to expect me to pay for everything today. And instantly, I just had a mini attitude because I just was like, there's no way that this is about to happen. I'm just too nice of a person. And in my head, I was just thinking, well, he doesn't have his wallet, so I should just look out for him at the time. I ended up buying it, and that totaled out to be like $20, $21, around that range, something like that. So we leave from there. I get in the car. I realized I didn't have much gas. So I'm like, okay, nearest gas station. First pulled up. I pulled up to the pump, and I had pulled my purse from the back seat, and I was hesitating to get my wallet, and he could tell that I had an attitude. And so I'm like, okay. I gave him like 30 seconds. He didn't say anything. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm not about to beg nobody to give me some gas money. So I grab my wallet and hop out the car. As I'm hopping out the car, he's saying like, what's your cash app? I'm going to send you some gas. And as he's saying that, I'm shutting the door. So I go inside, and I pay for the gas. Come back out, pump the gas, I hop back in the car. He was saying, you left so soon. I was asking you what your cash app was so I could send you some money for some gas. And I told him, once again, I do not have cash app. I said, again, you're going to have to send it to me a different way. And then that's when he says, well, pull your maps up and give me your phone. Put an address in your phone.
And as he's doing that, I'm pulling out the gas station. So I handed it to him, puts the address in, hands me the phone back. I'm pulling out the gas station, and I'm looking at the address, and I'm like, hold on, this says it's 2.5 hours away. It was a Columbus address. And I was like, that's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Like, that's a lot. And once again, you did not say that I was driving. So now that upsets him. He goes off, you keep saying the same damn thing. You keep talking about da-da-da. You not driving, da-da-da. You didn't even ask. You didn't say nothing. Like, if that was the case, you should have made it very clear. I'm on some getting money shit. I'm trying to go get some money. You think motherfuckers is playing around, da-da-da. Like, that's when he began to say, like, you playing driving to Detroit. Now you playing trying to drive her. Like, I don't know what you want. And I kept telling him, how can you expect somebody to just drive to an address that you just put in your phone? And I said, where am I going? You don't need to know all that. You got too many questions. I was like, I'm asking too many questions, but you're putting addresses in my phone, expecting me to just go to places. Like, that's not going to happen. You got to let me know what's up. Mind you, you remember when he tried to say that his ex-girlfriend asked too many questions? He's telling me, I don't even have my fucking wallet right now, so I'm just trying to go pick some money up. I got money to pick up, and you playing. And so here I go. Here he's trying to hit that string, and he did. And I'm sitting there feeling sorry for him, so I keep driving. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should go. It's only 2.5 hours. But then I'm just going back and forth with myself. And so then he's like, man, whatever. I found another way. You can take me back. And I kept going back and forth with myself because I'm just trying to show, like, okay, I don't want to make it seem like I'm not trying to be there for him while he's in a time of need. So I just kept driving. And then he was like, just take him back. So I was like, cool. I'm just about to go back. Take him back. We pull back up to the apartment complex. And he hops out. And he was like, just wait right here. I'm about to go see if I can find a property manager or see if I can find somebody to help me get back into the apartment. I was just like, okay, whatever. So I hop out. There was this Mediterranean spot right there where I parked. I go in and I grab something to eat. I come back outside and I'm sitting in my car. I had the door open while I'm just sitting there eating. Here he comes walking up to my car. Now he's leaning on the car, looking at what I'm eating, watching me eat, telling me, I didn't find nobody, but I just thought about it, and I remember they told me that I could download an app to access the building. So he's talking about how he's done downloaded this app, and he's trying to, get familiar with it to get back into the building. But he's saying, I think he can only open the front door, though. I don't think I can get into my apartment. I just got to see. I got to get on here and look. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just sitting there eating like as he's talking. So then he finishes up. Now he's leaning again, just looking. Now he says, you think you could buy me something to eat, and I just cash out you back? I instantly stopped eating, and I was like, okay. Once again, I just slam my box of food, hopped out the car. We go inside. He wants Goodfellas. So my dumb ass feeling sorry for him because he's talking about he done left his wallet in his car, key fob in his car. He's fasting, so I know the nigga's hungry. Gets his food. $13 worth of food. Gets the food. Of course, steps to the side, waiting for me to pay. I step up and I pay. After I paid, he's like, let's go upstairs at the bar and eat. And I was like, my food's outside, and I'm going to have to run out there and get it. Cool, whatever. Goes upstairs. I ran back outside to get my food. I come back in, and I make it back upstairs. I see him sitting there eating. I go sit with him, and I pull my food, and I try to pull my food out. The bartender's like, no way. You can't eat that in here. That's not allowed. I instantly get an attitude because I'm starving. I hadn't ate all day. So now he's just sitting there continuing to eat as I'm putting my food back up in the bag. So I'm just sitting there waiting on him to say, no, we can leave. We don't have to sit up here. Because I didn't want to make it seem like I was nagging about sitting there eating, but I really should have nagged. So he's still sitting there eating, and now he's just looking at me like, why you got that look on your face? Cheer up. It's okay. I'm not going to be that long. Like, get out of your feelings. Like, it's not that serious, basically. And I was just like, you sitting there eating, ain't you? You sitting there hungry, ain't you? I'm sitting here hungry just like you. Like, I want to eat my food as well. And I said, there's no reason why we shouldn't be going to go eat our food together somewhere else when you know I can't eat here. Now he's talking about, I'm about to be quick. This is not going to be long. Like, okay, whatever. Still sitting there, just watching the TV. So he says to me, you want a shot? You need to loosen up. And I was like, no, I haven't ate, so I can't drink. So now he calls the bartender and asks the bartender, like, hey, bartender, what type of tequila you got back there? Remember, mind you, he tried to say he had his own tequila brand. So now he's trying to sound cool. Bartender, what type of tequila you got back there? What type of top shelf you got? So the bartender's telling him all this, and he's like saying, I can get you this, I like this. So he's like, give me a shot of that. I literally went like this and looked at him because you don't have your wallet, so how are you ordering stuff? The bartender makes the shot, brings the shot, sits the shot down next to Mr. Million. He takes the shot, slides it in front of me, and says, here, you need this. And I was like, that's not even the type of tequila I drink, one. And two, no, I don't need this right now. You're trying to say I need this all because I'm irritated, because I can't eat, because I'm hungry? Like, come on now. Like, you got to stop trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying you can use that right now. Like, you know, you got a little attitude, da da da. Now he's saying, just try it, just try it. I was literally just sitting there. I took it. I took a baby ass sip, just tasting, literally just tasting it. And I was like, okay, it's cool. Slid it back over to him. Nah, that's all you. I don't want that. You need that. In my head, I'm like, you just ordered a whole shot just not to take it? Just to try to be funny and give it to me? Okay. Whatever. So after that, now he's like, here, you want a piece of this pizza? Here, it's okay. I just said, whatever. I took a little baby piece of the pizza just to cure my little hunger that I had going on so I can get back to my food. He finishes up eating. Now, like, when he finished up eating, he just instantly stood up and started walking. I'm just sitting there. I'm looking up like, okay. Now he's, like, walking towards the door. Of course, now the bartender's trying to, like, run down, hurry up and get the tab and give it to him. So as he's trying to hand him the tab, guess what he does? He points down to me. So now the bartender, they both look down at me. I'm just sitting there looking. So now, okay, I'm like, okay. Walk up to the bar, get the tab. I look at the tab. $15 for a shot. Paid the little 15 and mom got my dad. We go back downstairs, we get to the car, and as we get to the car, now he's saying, like, let's run to Walmart, and I just want to see what they got over there. At that point, I didn't even care. I was just ready to eat. So I get in the car, and I said to him, do you mind driving? Because I'm trying to eat. Now this man, huffing and puffing. I'm like, why is you catching an attitude about driving? But in my head, I'm asking myself, does he even got a license? But of course, then I'm thinking, what grown man at his age, about to be 28, don't have his license or ID? So I assume. Whatever. He drives and we make it to Walmart. We get to Walmart. I'm literally sitting in the car, eating my food, not moving as he's getting out the car. And he stands in front of the car, stands in front of me. He's like, come on. I said, no, I'm eating. He's like, come here with me, please. Just come here. I want you to come here with me. Okay.
Part 4 on who the fuck did I meet on Facebook dating. I was swindled by the Facebook dating swindler, Mr. Million. So where I left off, we walk inside Walmart, and he's telling me, you know, I just moved down here, and I'm looking for stuff, trying to figure out what all I want in the apartment, this and that. So he's like, let's go back to the electronic section. So we walk to the back, and he's looking at this, looking at that. Then he's like, let's look at the TVs. So he's looking at the TVs. Then he looks at me and puts his hand on my shoulder and says, babe, I need a TV. And I was like, okay, I don't know what you're telling me for. Like, okay. So he's like, I mean, I'm just seeing, well, do you think you'd be able to get this for me? And you know I'm already paying you back. So now I instantly looked at him like, no, because I've already maxed out today. I've already spent what I did, and I don't have it. So then he's just sitting there, and he's like, damn. So then he's like, you think you could get it out the ATM? And I was saying, like, I don't know because of how much I had spent. So then he was just like, damn, looking down at the ground. So here where my dumb comes into play. I say, but I have a credit card. Y'all, yes, y'all can go in on me for that. Y'all, when I told this man I had a credit card, he went like this. So now he's saying, damn girl, you must want to get married, don't you? I literally was like, boy, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just thinking that he's geeking because he's excited, thinking that he's about to get this TV right here in the moment. And of course, he doesn't have his wallet, so I'm looking out for him. So that's what's causing even more excitement. Now he's, smacking his hands together, trying to figure out which inch TV he want, looking around. Oh, I'm going to need a wall mount, da-da-da. So now he's like, we need a buggy, we need a flatbed, something. So now we're walking around looking for that. Find one, go back to the back. He puts the size TV that he wanted in the buggy and then goes, finds a wall mount, gets that. So we walk to the counter and we're trying to pay. My card's not working, my credit card. I think that was by the grace of God trying to tell me something. It wasn't working. Don't know why. Hadn't used it all that day and days, actually. Don't know why it wasn't working. Wasn't working. So, now he's saying I should go to the ATM and get the money off. This is my first credit card, so I'm still getting the hang of things. And yes, I am a little slow and a little blind when it comes to certain things. And so I never knew, or I guess put that much research into a credit card to know basically that it's an interest charge rate for when you use the ATM for your credit card. I find that out later. But anyways, now we're walking towards the front of Walmart looking for the ATM. So now we get to the ATM. ATM is not working. Again, I think it's a guy trying to tell me something like, stop taping. Didn't. So ATM's not working. So now I'm like, I don't know what's going on with my card, and I'm trying to call the card people. So now he's getting frustrated, and he's like, oh, well, let's just leave, go back to the apartment. He said he has somebody waiting on him at the apartment for business. So we leave, get in the car, and on the way there, I finally get a hold of somebody, and I'm on the car with the credit card people, and I'm asking them what's going on with my card, and they're telling me that everything's perfectly fine. It was just I was out of state, and they were just making sure that it wasn't any fraudulent transactions. So as we're on the way back to his apartment complex, I'm playing music through my car, and I play the song Finessing Out the P, whatever the correct name of the song is, by Finesse 2 Times. And he's like all into it, and he's really feeling it. He asked me to replay the song, and I'm like, why would you ask me to replay the song? Then I'm sitting there literally listening to the lyrics, trying to like delve and see, is he trying to make a point? Is he relating? Like, why is he just digging to this song so hard? I found out later. So we get back to the apartment, and that's when he was telling me that he was about to go meet somebody for business. And he was like, do you think you want to go back to Walmart and try to get that stuff? So I said, cool, that's fine. So I headed back to Walmart, and I didn't tell him that I had money on me. So I was just like, let me just go on and get the TV wall mount, whatever. Get the TV wall mount. It ends up being $293. Leave Walmart, I'm on my way back, and I tell him that I'm on the way back, and he texts me back and says, and asks, did I get the TV and the TV wall mount? And I said, yes. So then he texts back and asks, did you run to the ATM? And I was like, no, was I supposed to? And he was like, yeah, because we gonna make it. Instantly called because I was just wondering why he wanted me to go. And of course, no answer. And I text some question marks, and then he responds and says, yeah, I should go to the ATM. And I said, well, where are you at, and why are you not answering? He doesn't reply to that question. He just replies back and says, how much are you taking out? All I reply, so my dumbass, I just replied back, I could only do 200. I and told him I went to 2 different banks to try to use the ATM for my credit card, and it still wasn't working. So I ended up having to use my bank card, and with my bank card, I can only get $200 out the ATM. He replies back a screenshot of a location to where I should go to try this ATM out. And by the time he did that, I had texted back and told him that I was out front. He replies back and says, babe, you know this is the wrong TV. And I was like, no, that's the one that you wanted that was $258. So I reply back like, damn, I didn't even realize. And he puts the rolling eyes face, and he's like, here I come locking storage. And I'm like, hold on, how are you locking the storage if you said, one, that you didn't have your key fob to get into your apartment, and that you only had access to the front door and the elevator? How, what? And I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to let it be. And I just said, never mind, nothing. And he replies back and says, he's not back yet with my Benz truck. So for him to just reply like, oh, he's not back with my Benz truck yet, of course I had the thought like, does this man even have a Benz? Why does he have to announce Benz truck? Then he had just asked where I'm at, and I said I'm parked on the street. So he comes down, he gets in my car, we're sitting there talking, going back and forth, and then he asked me about the money that I had just got out the ATM, and says that he needed that because he's waiting on the dude to pull up with the camera. So I give him the money, and then now he's telling me, can you look up a hotel for us to stay at? It was late, like maybe 11:30. Yeah, it was 11:30 midnight, going on 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. And when he said, look up the hotel, I said, why would I be looking up a hotel if dude would be on his way back with your car? And he was like, I just want to stay in a hotel tonight. But as he's doing this, he literally said that and then shuts the door, walks off. And I was just sitting there looking. I started looking up hotels, but time goes by, 20, 30, 40 minutes maybe. He finally texts me and says, did you get it? And I said no, and that I was still looking. This man replies to me and says, I'm shitting. I said, thanks for telling me. And then I just said, did you find one? I said, send me some that you see online. This man replies back and says, go on Google and type in hotel near me. He had said that to me earlier that day, talking about some go get on Google. And so I knew he was just trying to be smart aleck. So I replied back and I was like, what do you think I'm doing? Then he replies back to me and just says a hotel name. And I reply back and I sent him a screenshot of their room prices, and they were kind of high. I said, these are the only rooms that they have available. And he said, no, we're not doing that. So I texted him back and I said, try to find somewhere else. He sends me a screenshot of another hotel, and then I send him a screenshot of a different hotel. He replies back to me and tells me that he's almost done, which I'm assuming using the bathroom or meeting up with the dude to get this camera. So I reply back and send him another screenshot of a hotel room. He sends me another screenshot of another hotel. But as he's doing that, I'm on the phone with one of the hotels trying to see about prices and bookings. And reply back, all I said was, okay, I need to pee. And he writes me again and says, okay, but did you find a room? Said not yet, but I see a couple. And then I ask, like, where do I walk in? To the front? Where do I come? So he tells me come through the front door and that he was going to buzz me in. Because, mind you, he's done downloaded some app on his phone to where he claims he can access the front door to the apartment building. So I said to him that I'm at the front door, and then he asked me, did it open? And then I said, yes. So I go inside, and as I'm using the bathroom, I had texted him, and I said, where you at? This man replies to me and says, I'm on the 5th floor. Piss and go find the hotel. I said, why can't I come up? He says he's using the bathroom and that he didn't want to shit up the gym. And then he proceeds to ask and say, can you hurry up and just find the room so that I can be up underneath him as much as I want it to be? I reply back to him, and I'm irritated at this point, and I said, you got Google just like I do, so you can send me a link for a hotel. He texts back and says, just pull up to a hotel and get it. I'm getting restless, and that he should have stayed on schedule for the day. Said, okay, I've been driving all day, as he would know, and that I'm pretty restless myself. And he says, okay, so am I going to keep questioning him, or am I going to go get the room? So he says to me, okay, are you going to go get the room, or do you want to keep asking me weird questions? Now by then, I'm irritated, and I reply back, shut up. And so he replies back, hurry, boo. I guess trying to put the boo on the end to try to make it sound better. So then he replies and asks, how far is it, the hotel? And I tell him that it's about 16 minutes away, and that it was basically the cheapest one that I had seen. This man, Mr. Million, texts back and says that the dude that supposedly had his car to wrap it matte black, like the paint job, matte black, had been on his way trying to bring him his Benz truck all night, and then says that he needs me rested because he needs this burden off of his shoulders, and then replies back and says, so can you do that for me and stop questioning me? So I reply back, no confrontation, like a dummy. And I just said back, okay, boo. So then he texts me back and says, so you're not getting it? And I had to tell him, like, yeah, I'm getting it, but not the ones that he had sent, but the one that I had looked up and that I was on the phone, etc., etc. Say that I'm on the way to the hotel, and then he says, okay. I get to the hotel, I get settled in. By the time I do that, he texts me and he asks me if I'm up. And I reply back and I said, yes. He replies back and he says, what's the room number? And so I reply back to him and I tell him that, like his apartment, the hotel has a key card, and that I would have to come down from the elevator, come down from the room on the elevator to get him, to bring him up to the room. And so I had asked him if he could stop by the front desk and grab toothpaste before he heads to the elevator for me to come get him. It was so late, of course I ended up dozing off. And when I woke up, it was literally, I would say, 6:30 in the morning. No response from him, and he was not there. Now, I know this story just sounds too crazy to be true, but it is. This is not fake, and these are real events. Mr. Million is a real person. I would not wish what he took me through on anybody. I will be showing screenshots, receipts, everything along the way. Yes, I was dumb. Yes, I was easy to manipulate. I've taken full accountability for that. So this is part 7 to my scam series on how I was scammed by Mr. Million, the Facebook dating swindler. I promise y'all the story is going to get crazy. Just wait and listen. I am not the only victim, okay? No, I'm not. He is doing and has done this to multiple women that he has met through the Facebook dating app. That's why he is called the Facebook dating swindler. Just wait and see. Just listen. Yes, I should have been more careful. Yes, I shouldn't have been naive. Yes, I wanted somebody to like me. Yes, I am admitting to everything. Everything you're thinking. Yes, I know, and I have felt it. Trust me. Trust me, I get it, okay? I'm just the only female I think that he has got the most from, okay? So where I left off, I had woke up around like 6:30 in the morning, and I instantly checked my phone and I see no response from him. And of course I didn't hear a phone call from the front desk or anyone to wake me up. So I started feeling like, what's going on? And so I instantly call him, and I'm blowing his phone up. I called his phone so many times. No answer. Kept calling, no answer. So I leave the hotel and make my way to the apartment complex. It was like 7 a.m., something like that. And when I pull up, I'm just sitting outside watching the residents going in and out because I just wanted to find the right person to see who I can help let me in, because, of course, they all have access to the building with these key fobs. So then I see this guy walking his dog, and I walk up to him, and I said to him, like, hey, my boyfriend just moved in this apartment building, and he's upstairs asleep, and he knows I'm on the way over here, but he's not answering the phone. He's asleep. Do you mind just letting me up? He was hesitant at first, but then he ended up being cool about it. And then, of course, he explained to me how I couldn't access anywhere in the building without the key fobs. So he was saying, like, if you go anywhere in the building, I'm just going to have to go with you until you find him, because I don't want you to get locked inside of the building. So we get on the elevator, we go up. Mind you, of course, the last place that I thought he said he was on the 5th floor. Told him, let's just check the 5th floor at first, because I wanted to see if he would actually have been up there. So go up to the 5th floor. There's not a soul up there. I just looked to the left, and it was the little lounge area. And then when you look straight ahead, they have an outdoor lounge area. Go to the right, it was some bathrooms, and then I didn't explore anything beyond that perimeter to know what was over there. So of course, once we don't see anyone, the guy that let me up, he was like asking, do you know what floor he lives on? And I said, of course I know what floor he lives on. So then I'm like, okay, well, he lives on the 3rd floor, so let's just go there. Go down to the 3rd floor. He lived right when you got off the elevator. Or I wouldn't say lived. I would say the apartment was right when you got off the elevator. So I'm just knocking. I sat there and knocked for about 30 seconds to a minute. I was soft knocking. Like, I guess I wasn't knocking hard enough. I don't know. Nobody came to the door, though. And so then the dude's just standing in the elevator looking at me like, are you even really telling the truth? He's trying to figure out what do I have going on. And then he keeps telling me, like, well, I just would like for you to come with me, because I feel like if I leave you and then he's not here, you're going to be locked inside the building on this floor and you won't be able to get out, basically. And so I just stood there for a second. I was pondering, and I was like, damn. And I said, okay, well, he does have a point, and that does make sense, so let me just leave. Nobody still came to the door. Get on the elevator, go back down the elevator, and as we're going back down the elevator, I had texted him and I said, call me. Y'all, the moment I had got off that elevator and I'm walking to my car, get in my car, he's calling. I feel like he had watched me through, like, out the window, because the way I had parked, like the way his apartment was, or where the apartment was, I should say, you literally could see my car, like, diagonal distance. The moment I answer the phone, he's like, what are you doing? Why are you here so early? What's your problem? Like, you doing the most? Why you acting weird? Da-da-da this, da-da-da that. And I start screaming at him like, you're the one acting weird. Why did you not answer the phone? Why did you not come to the hotel last night? I tell him, what is going on? You need to stop lying. You need to tell me what's going on. He's persistent and insisting that he is not lying and that I'm the one that's being weird. We go back and forth on the phone. Eventually, he says he's about to come down. So then we get off the phone. He texts me and says, where am I parked at on the street? I tell him. He replies and says, I'm confused on why you doing weird shit. You making me nervous. I said, what's the problem and what's weird? You didn't come to the hotel. You wasn't planning on coming into the hotel. I just woke up and now I'm here. So that's weird? Doesn't respond to that. All he says back is that he's coming down. So I replied, and I'm trying to catch him up in his lie. And I said, but you're laying in the bed and you can buzz me up from your phone. So it's no big deal. He replies back and says that I can't get up the elevator, which later on down the road, come to find out, I could. I was like, okay, still just a little bitty tiny ounce trying to give this man the benefit of the doubt and believe that he's not lying. So I replied and I said, I know, but I can still get through the front door and I could just meet you at the elevator. But by then, he's already done came down and walking out the front door. So when I look up and I see him, this man has a whole different outfit on. So I instantly was like, what is going on? He gets in my car and tries to fake act like he's upset. Like, why you here so early? You making me nervous. You doing weird shit. What you on, some setup shit? What you on? Like, he keeps asking me what am I on? And that's when I couldn't take it no more. And I just came back and said, what are you on? You the one who's lying? Like, nigga, I said I went up to the 5th floor. You wasn't there. So where was you? I slept by the pool. Why you doing weird shit? Da, 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 da. Like screaming, y'all. Like, he got so, like, he's like this, like jumping up and down, like screaming, like trying to prove his point that he is not lying. He was like, I waited all night for this nigga to come with my car, and he didn't. Don't you think I'm mad about that? I waited for dude to come with this camera, and he didn't. I'm mad about that. He said, I'm so mad that I had to sleep next to the pool. This man said he slept next to the pool in a lounge chair. So I'm like, pool? What pool? Where? I didn't see no pool. He's like, you wouldn't see no pool. You wouldn't know because you don't live here. Then I said, how are you in different clothes? He told me that he went inside of his storage unit and changed clothes. Just kept questioning him. He literally just kept talking over me because he just kept wanting to prove his point that he wasn't lying and that he was actually where he said he was. And so I'm just an emotional girl. I can cry at the drop of the dime. Just like that when I'm upset and when I'm mad, anything, any type of emotion. So from where I was just so irritated and so mad, I started crying and I started breaking down. And I was just like, I just cannot believe that you're acting like this and that you're talking to me like this and that we're even here right now in this moment. Now that I'm crying, now he's trying to console me and he's holding me and he's hugging me and he's telling me to stop crying and that everything's gonna be okay. And he was like, just wait and see. I promise you, when dude get back with my car, you gonna see. So I just calmed down and I just believed what he said. So we sat there and then he did the famous line and asked me to pull up my maps so he could put an address in my phone. Pull up my maps, give him my phone. He put some address. I can't remember how far it was, but it was a camera store. And he says, go here. But of course, like I had tapped on it to click and see, but it had said like arriving at wherever we was going. So I seen like, okay, we were just going to a store. So that's cool. So we pull up to the store and he's asking me to go into the store with him. And I said, no, I don't feel like it because I was still kind of upset. So he's like, okay, hops out, goes inside the store. 5-10 minutes go by. Now he's calling me and he's like, babe, I need you to come inside the store. I need to use your card. I said, no. And I said it sternly, no. He was like, I promise you, I'm not buying anything. I'm just trying to rent this camera, but they said that they need a card on file while we rent the camera. And he was like, it's not your car is not going to get charged until we, or he said, it's not going to be no payment charged until we bring the camera back from renting it. He just said they just need a card on file. And I just went inside with my card. This is part 8 to who the fuck did I meet on Facebook dating. So, where I left off, he asked me to come inside the store with my card. I go inside. He's right there at the counter with the workers. When I walk up, the workers are like, are you the one that's going to have the card on file? I said yes. And then they're sitting there explaining to me the rental agreement. And then he said, like, you would be liable and charged on your card if anything was to happen to this camera, or if the camera and whatever else he was trying to rent isn't brought back. And so, like, I just had a blank stare on my face, blank expression, and my face was still red, kind of poofy from where I had been crying. So the worker asked me, do you understand and do you agree with this rental agreement? And I just nodded my head and I said yes. And so then he had looked at me and then he was like, okay. And so then he said that he was going to put us down for a reservation. But the workers had also said, I believe, that it was not a for sure chance that we would be able to rent the equipment, so that they would give us a call back. So when we leave out of there, we get in the car, and that's when he's like, man, fuck them, let's just go somewhere else. And he was thinking to himself, and then he was like, let's go to Best Buy. So I drive to Best Buy. While we on the way to Best Buy, he's just scrolling on his phone. I could tell he's scrolling on social media. Then he gets a call from someone, I believe maybe a family member, a family friend, I don't know who. And they were just going back and forth talking about family. And then he was like talking about, something that he just talked to somebody, or one of them, or her, whoever he was talking about, a family member, saying that they had just asked him for some money. Then he was like, yeah, but I'm going to hit her back and I'm going to send her something. And then he was saying to her how, oh, he just got a new phone and he got a new phone number. And when he said that, I looked down at his phone cracked up, scratched up. I was like, why is he lying? Like, why did he say he just got a new phone if his phone's cracked up? But then I said, maybe it's a new phone and maybe he just dropped it and cracked it. I don't know. It seemed like they was talking about family stuff. I don't really know. The music was going and I was like really not trying to tune into his conversation with him on the phone, really. So then we make it to Best Buy. The moment we get to Best Buy, this man says to me, you know that Best Buy has a credit line? And he was like, you know that you can go in here and open a line of credit and get stuff and you can pay on it. I said, no, I didn't know that. I don't shop at Best Buy to know that. So then he tells me, man, listen, I'm trying to shoot some promo this weekend and I need to grab a couple things. And, they have where you can open up a line of credit in here, and that could be really good for you and your credit. And you can start helping build on your credit by paying on some stuff. So I sat there and I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I did just get a credit card that I'm trying to get familiar with and learn about. And of course, I'm trying to build my credit so I can start and get into the Airbnb business. I was like, okay, like this might be a nice opportunity. And of course, this man said to me after what he said, I'm paying for everything, so I'm just trying to help you out. I'm just looking out for you. Then he says, I would do it myself if I had my ID. But my ID's in my wallet and dude's not back with my car yet. So I just believed him and I said whatever. So we go inside of Best Buy and we're walking around, we're looking, then we walk up, we find an associate, and of course he's talking the entire time and trying to talk like a businessman. Yeah, we came here, we're trying to open up a line of credit. We trying to get a couple things and we doing some things and da-da-da. So we walk over. Shout out to Terry because he was very nice and sweet. We walk over and Terry's sitting there talking to him, and he was like, yeah, my girl right here, she wants to open it up in her name. So Terry's telling me like, okay, ma'am, I'm gonna need your card and we got to do a little credit check, da-da-da this, da-da-da that. I was sitting there, I said, okay, gave him my card. And I didn't give him my card. Like, you have to like type in the card information on the keypad. Like, of course, it's like a bunch of other stuff that you got to do, all that extra stuff. But you have to type in your bank account, card information. I can't remember what exactly it was, but you have to type all that stuff in. So as I'm typing the stuff in, this man is literally right here, breathing on the back of my neck, my ear. That's not how you do it. Type it in like this. Do that. I literally said, can you back up, please? Like, what is I said, this is my information. I know what I'm doing. They're going to reply back to me and say, that's how we talking to each other? Is that what you want? That's how it is now? Okay, cool. I just literally, I was sitting there typing the stuff in, like, ignoring him. And Terry was like, just sitting there back looking. So then he steps back and he was like, okay, cool, whatever. So he's trying to do the little, like, where he back up off of me and he's walking around in a little circle acting like he's looking at stuff right there. So then Terry finished doing the little credit check, and then he comes back and he says that I was approved for up to basically $3,000. So he's telling me, like, you know, you can use your credit today. So once he said that, that's when dude was like, bet. And he said, I need this, I need that, I need this. So when he said that, Terry was like, okay, I'm going to take you there and I'm going to show you where it's at. So at first, whatever he had asked Terry to look for, he was looking for it, and they didn't have what he wanted. I can't remember if it was a mini laptop. I can't remember what it was. It was so long ago. But he was just asking for different things, and Terry was like looking. So then he finds a couple things, and like as he's finding stuff, he's just bringing stuff back and sitting it down on the counter. So we're standing there, and he's saying to me, you know, I already have a MacBook, I got this, I got that. Then he's asking me, like, you know, what do you got? And I told him, like, I don't got none of that. And I was telling him how I don't even know how to work a MacBook. Like, we was just going back and forth, casual conversation. I go and sit down because him and Terry's just now just walking around the store looking at stuff and talking. So I go and sat down right in front of the cash register, and I was just literally sitting there with a blank stare, like, staring off into space. And I'm sitting there thinking, I was just so numb to the situation, like what was going on. I don't even know how to explain my feeling on what I was feeling, but in that moment I was just sitting there, and I just had that gut instinct, like, is this the right thing to do? And I just was going back and forth with myself. So when they get done walking around the store getting stuff, Mr. Million and Terry comes back to the counter, and Terry brings everything up. When he rings everything up, he's like, oh, it's 2,000 and something. And I was like, what did you get? And why are we spending the full amount? Like, I'm confused. He's telling me, man, just calm down. And then continues to talk to Terry. He's asking Terry, well, how much is left over? And then Terry tells him. And so after he says that, he's like, okay, walks off. I'm standing there, but like he kind of like grabs me to walk with him, puts his arm around my shoulder, like grabbing me, holding me. And he's like, man, I'm going to need you to cheer up. This is what we about to do for you. We about to go and we about to get you some stuff. I was like, I don't want nothing. He was like, nah, we about to get you something because I want to cheer you up. Like, you look all sad. Like, I just want to make you feel better. Basically saying to me that he wanted to just make up for the way he acted earlier that morning. So I was just like going back and forth, and I said, okay, whatever. I'm just going to get something. This nigga said he's buying it anyway, so why not? So he's like, what you want? What you want, an iPad? What you want, some AirPods? What you need, another laptop for school? Like, what you need? What you want? And so I was just like, I don't know what I want. I don't know. So he's like, look, okay, let's look at this. We walk over to the iPads. It was like some little iPad minis. And he was like, this is cute for you. Like, let's look at this. So we looking, and I was like, no, I don't really want this. And then he was like, man, I really want this for myself. So then he calls Terry over. And he's telling Terry that he wanted this specific iPad mini or iPad, whichever what it was, in a specific color. I think it was black or whatever color. And Terry looked it up. They didn't have that color. So then he was just forgot about it. He was like, okay, whatever. Moving on. So then we're walking around. We still walking around. He's like, you sure you don't want nothing? You sure you don't need nothing? And in that moment, like, I didn't really know what to get or what I wanted. So then he's like, well, if you don't really know what you want, we for sure about to get you a phone case. Because you could always use a phone case. So then we walk up to the phone cases, and we're sitting there looking, and he's like, what you like this? Passing me one. What you like this? What you like this? I'm like, nah, I don't like this. I'm sitting there looking at all the phone cases. I literally did not see one that I liked. If I would have seen a phone case that I like, I would have got it. Didn't see a phone case that I like, so I was just like, it's cool, like, whatever. So then he sees one that he likes, and he's like, yeah, I'm just finna grab this one. Grabbed it. So then he's like, you sure you don't see nothing you want? We still walking around the store. Oh, he's stopping, showing me, oh, this is this, and explaining to me different things, and explaining to me how to work this and do this, knew so much about shit up in the Best Buy store. So then we walk back to the counter, and he gives Terry the phone case, and that was it. And Terry rung up everything, and the total was basically close to $3,000. The whole credit line, $3,000 basically. So now Terry's explaining to me and Mr. Million about the credit line lease, saying that we had to pay $64 that day in the store, and then he said after today, every week or every 2 weeks, however many weeks goes by, that there's going to be the payment. And he was saying how much the payment was going to be, and then he was telling me like there'll be interest charges if you want to wait. Basically, the little rundown. So we both like, okay. So Terry's like, all right, bags everything up, hands us the stuff. Then as we walking away, Terry screams to us, literally, please don't forget about me. Y'all should give me a shout out when y'all go famous and when y'all blow up. Give me a shout out about who sold y'all's equipment and y'all stuff. Mind you, this man had been walking around the Best Buy store with Terry filling his head up. He's telling Terry how, of course, he's into real estate. He shoots promo, and he's doing this, and he does this, and he does that. He's telling him that he's a YouTuber. He's telling him that he gets paid for his social media. Like, he's just telling him all these different things. So Terry's sitting there geeking, thinking that we like some famous YouTube people or some upcoming people that's finna blow, basically. And when Terry said that to him, he literally geeked, and he was like, I'm gonna give you a shout out. Thanks. So then as we walking out the store, he's walking, he had a little backpack, he got his little bag, I had a bag. So as we walking out the store, this man says to me, guess what the best part about getting all that stuff was? I said, what? He said that it was free. I said, what? That's not free. I still got to pay on that stuff, like laughing it off. Because I'm thinking he's meaning like it was free because of how you're able to get everything up front and then pay on it. So then he ends with, but yeah, you know what I mean. And then we get back in the car. This is part 10 to who the fuck did I meet on Facebook dating. So where I left off, we leave Best Buy, get in the car. He then asked me to go back to the camera place that we had just previously went to because he said they hadn't called yet and he still wanted to see what they were talking about. So as we were on the way there, I'm driving and I'm just reflecting on what I had just did and what he had literally just said to me about it was free. And I wasn't really saying anything. I was just playing music, and he was just sitting there scrolling on his phone on Instagram. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, one, why isn't he sparking conversation with me? And then two, why has he just been sitting scrolling on Instagram since he got in my car? Like, you got all these businesses, so why are you just sitting scrolling on social media? I was in my head at the time, so I wasn't really trying to spark any conversation either. We pull back up to the camera place, and he goes back inside by himself. As I'm sitting there, I'm literally getting like a knot in my stomach, and I was just questioning myself so bad and him and what he was doing. I just wanted to know, like, what was really going on. Was this man telling the truth, or was he lying? Then I'm going back and forth with myself, like, girl, what are you doing? Like, is this really worth it? I don't really know. Still just trying to give this man the benefit of the doubt and believe what he's saying. So he comes back outside, and when he does, I ask him, like, of course, what did they say? And he says, they ain't on shit. They not talking about nothing. They not trying to let us do it. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, maybe they seen how I said I was, so they didn't try to approve me because they felt like something bad was going to happen with their equipment. After he said that, I was just like, okay, like looking out the window, just sitting there, pause for a second, and pulls his phone back out, starts scrolling for a split second. And then I'm like, so what are we doing? What's going on? Is dude done with your car yet? Like, what's going on? He's saying that dude hadn't hit him up yet and that he was probably still working on the car. So that's when I asked him, like, so can we just go to the car, get your stuff for you while he's working on it, or just wait, like, if he's almost done? He says, man, nah, we not doing that because that man's far as fuck. So he's almost done, so we just gonna wait. So now I'm sitting there in silence, and then I start crying. And he's like, what's wrong? Why are you so upset? And I tell him, I just really cannot be played no more. Like, I've just been played so much with men. So now he's saying I need to chill out and calm down, and he's not like all the bum dudes that I've messed with in the past, and that he can back up everything that he was saying. And as he was saying that, like, he's leaning in, hugging me, trying to console me, and I'm sitting there like, crying, trying to get myself together. And then I said to him like, okay, all right. And then I asked why he's sitting there hugging me. I'm like, you think you could drive? Because I'm just too upset right now. He leans back off of me, hops out the car, slams my car door so hard, like so hard the window could have broke. So when he did that, like literally my heart jumped, like my heart was racing. I did not know what this man was on. Like when he was coming around my car to my car door, I literally was like, no, it's cool. I'm good. I'm about to drive myself. And I'm not going to lie, that shit really scared me. Like, I have never been in any type of domestic situation before, so I didn't really know how to react to that. It's not like I don't have a backbone and I know how to speak up for myself, but in certain situations, I literally shut down and don't know how to speak up for myself, if that makes any sense. I have this trait that I have accepted and that I have realized since I have started dating guys, that I feel like if I say the wrong thing to them, that they're going to stop talking to me. That is me being brutally honest to explain why I even tolerate that type of behavior. He walks back around my car, gets back in the car, and when he does that, the food, my Mediterranean food from the night before, was sitting there on the ground in my passenger side. He steps on the bag, and there was a hot sauce in there, and he steps on the hot sauce, and of course, it splats everywhere. On his shoe, on his calf muscle, on my carpet, in my car, everywhere. So now I'm trying to find some paper towels, some wipes, something to clean this up. I find some, give him some, and he's wiping himself off, and I'm thinking that he's wiping up the mess. And says to me, you think you could go back to the ATM and try to get more out from where you could only do a certain amount last night? He said he wanted to have some money on him. I didn't know what we were doing on later that day, so I just was like, okay. Yes, I know. My money, I know. In my head, literally on everything, I was thinking like, okay, he is a man. He doesn't want to feel like he doesn't have any money on him, so I get it. And obviously he said he's going to pay me back. And by then I was just like mentally checked out. Like I was zoned out and I was just trying not to upset him even more. So I tell him, I can't use my bank card. I can only use my credit card because I had just used my bank card at Best Buy for the lease. So now he looks up my credit card bank and puts that in for me to go. Pull off driving on my way, and it was a strong ass smell of hot sauce the entire ride, like the majority of the ride. And I had to tell him, literally crack the windows, and I had to tell him to wipe himself off better because it was still on him. So we pull up to the ATM, and it's inside of a mall. At the time, I had my chain on. It was a diamond necklace that I have, and it's very much real. And so he's asking me, like, where'd you get your chain from? And I'm telling him, and he's like asking me, when did I get it? And I said to him, like, I got this like a couple years back, so it's not new. And he was asking me where I had got it from, and I told him. He was like, oh yeah, that's a dope ass chain. I'm gonna have them make my chain now that I seen yours. Now, I done forgot to tell y'all, as I'm reflecting, it's all coming back to me. He did have jewelry on. Now, back in part one, when I had said that he had the dingy clothes on, he did have his jewelry on, and it was a necklace and a watch. Of course, I assumed that his jewelry was real because I'm like, there's no way you're out here claiming to have all this money and be a businessman and businesses and this and that, and your jewelry's not real. So that's why I was saying, okay, well, maybe he's just down at the moment because I seen he still had his jewelry on, and I obviously had seen what he looked like in the Facebook dating pictures. So in my head, I'm thinking his jewelry has to be real, so he's not no lame, and he's going to pay me back. Go inside the mall, find the ATM. Y'all, the ATM is not working again. It was not trying to let me get money out at the time at first, or I just wasn't doing it right. I don't know. God, I feel like, again. Like, literally, a worker had even came out. He's like, hey, you need some help? Asking me, am I good? Like, he didn't know if I'm trying to do some shit. I'm like, no, I literally just got this credit card. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm just trying to get some money off the ATM. And so then he shows me how to do it, and then it works out. So by then, some time had went by, and I was like, let me use the bathroom before I go back to the car. So as I'm leaving the bathroom, he's calling my phone. He's like, where are you at? Why are you taking so long? What's going on? And I had to tell him, like, about it not working, and I was using the bathroom. So hang up, make my way back to the car. We get in the car, and I handed him the money. It was $150. So then now I'm hungry. So I'm looking up places to eat, and I'm asking him. I know he's hungry as well because we have not ate all day. We've been together all day since 8 o'clock in the morning. So I know he's hungry. I'm hungry. So I'm asking him what he wants to eat. I know he's fasting, so I'm thinking something healthy. So I'm throwing out healthy options. And I'm like, what, you want a salad? Like, what sounds good to you? And he's, yeah, salad sounds good. Let's get that. So I'm looking at places like near us with a salad, and I couldn't really find a place. But then I found a chicken salad place that was like a family-owned restaurant. Get there, go inside. Of course, he comes inside with me and sitting there looking at all the food. And there was a chip stand, and he only grabbed a bag of Grippos. And so now he's getting a phone call. And he gives the Grippos to me and says, here, get these, and walked immediately out the door before I could even say one word. This is part 11, so who the fuck did I meet on Facebook dating? So where I left off, he passed me the bag of Grippos, walks out the restaurant, didn't say a thing. And as I'm sitting there looking at the food, I'm like, damn, he didn't tell me what type of salad he wanted. So I walk back out, and I'm like, what type of salad you want? And he's sitting there talking on the phone. I'm thinking he can't hear me from where he's sitting there leaning on my car. And I'm like, hey, like, what type of salad you want? He's like, egg. I'm like, just tell me what you want real quick so I can order it. And he was like, don't you see me on the phone? I'm over here talking business and you over here asking me questions. Just go in there and order the food. Like, what you tripping? So that's when I came back, and I'm like, you're the one tripping. I'm over here trying to order you some food and you not telling me what you want, but cool, whatever. And I walked off. So I go inside and I order my food, and of course, my nice little self, I still get the bag of motherfucking Grippos. So I sat there, waited on my food for them to like prepare it, get the food, walk out, and as I'm walking out, I'm opening my car doors, and he's like walking around my car to get inside the car. When we get back in the car, I'm like, why were you acting like that? I was literally just asking you what you wanted to eat. He replies and he's like, listen, motherfuckers don't know when motherfuckers is on business calls, you don't need to be interrupting and being rude. Do you not understand how that's rude? Do you not understand how when somebody's talking on the phone and you trying to ask them questions and talk to them while they're talking on the phone, how rude that is? And then he's like sitting there waiting for me to reply. He's like, and I said, that's not rude when you just ask somebody what they want to eat. Now he's like, he says, listen, when I'm on the phone talking business, it's important. So if I'm telling you to go on and go and I can't talk at the moment, then that's just what it is. So I'm sitting there eating as he's saying all that. And then, of course, in my head, it's trying to make it seem like I'm in the wrong. I'm like, damn, well, maybe he was on a business call and it might have really had been important. So I just didn't even reply. I just kept on eating my food. So then after I got done taking a couple bites, I'm like, okay, I'm about to pull over here and, roll me one. It was about that time for me. As I pull off, he's like, where are you going? And I said, and this is when I finally started speaking up, and I was like, don't worry about it. All you need to be doing is over there riding. I said, you done did everything you wanted to do. Now I'm about to pull over here and do what I want to do. I said, just chill. I'll be quick. It's okay. We sitting there, I'm doing my thing. He's over there crushing them Grippos. He finishes, looks down at my box of chicken salad, and I had a side salad. Now he's like, you gonna eat this salad? I said, no, I'm not gonna eat it. You can have it. So he picks the box up, starts demolishing the salad. And while he's doing that, he's like, yeah, I don't eat chicken salad. And then I'm like, sure you don't. Because the way he was eating, I knew that man was hungry. So I finished up, and as I'm pulling off, he's like, you think you can run to Walmart real quick? I said, yeah, that's cool. So put in the nearest Walmart and on the way. So as we're on the way to Walmart, he's on the phone with one of his friends. And this friend is supposedly signed as an artist to QC, quality control records. I don't know, as a beginner artist, upcoming artist, underground artist, supposedly he's signed to them. They're talking, going back and forth, and they're talking about Pierre, CEO of Quality Control. They're talking about him. They're going back and forth, talking about the label doesn't know how to accommodate their artists. Then they were talking about saying that Pierre, CEO, was giving out fake chains to the new artists that they were signing. Now, I have to go on and give y'all the backstory about Mr. Million and that, because I can't wait until the later on parts. So here's a picture of P standing right here with Mr. Million, and there's a flyer at the top, says Quality Control. Top right side, y'all see that pendant right there. Now, I don't know whose pendant that is, but there's a pendant, says QC. So when I found out about that, I had to go do my research. I went on his Instagram page and I seen that, which really prompted the thought in my head of, why is he doing this if he has so much money? So apparently when they met, P liked his music and signed him and gave him an $800,000 advance, which prompted his stage name, Mr. Million. Mind y'all, I'm thinking and feeling and finding out all these things after the fact. But anyways, they were going back and forth about the label and just talking really negative about it and their experiences. And then Mr. Million's talking about how he's starting his own record label or has his own record label, something along those lines. Mind y'all, the music was on and I was in and out. I was trying to act like I was not in this man's conversation. But I for sure heard that the moment I heard P and the moment I heard Quality Control, that's when I was zoomed in. So now they're talking about some type of video shoot, promo shoot, some type of shoot, which I'm assuming in my head, I'm thinking this is what we just got this stuff for. So then I'm having the slightest thought that maybe he is telling the truth about this stuff that we just got, and this is what he's using it for. Oh, he's talking about how many females they're going to have there. He's talking about, man, we're going to grab some hamburgers. We're going to grab some hot dogs just for everybody on the set. They just going back and forth talking about this video shoot. They eventually wrap up on the phone, and we get to Walmart. Pull up, park. I instantly pull my phone out and start scrolling. He looks to me, and then he says, "You're not coming inside with me?" And I said, "No." So then he looks to me, and he said, "Well, I need your card, please." And I said, "No." He said, "You know I'm paying you back. You need to stop acting like that. I need your card." I didn't even respond, y'all. I just gave him my credit card. When he got out that car, I instantly had the thought in my head, lock that card. I literally said to myself, this is too much. This is gone too far. This is too much. I'm a Gemini, so of course that other side of me is just telling me, the good girl, no, he's going to pay you back, so everything's okay. So my dumb self, I didn't lock the card. 25 minutes go by, and then he calls me and he's like, "Where you at?" And I said, "I'm still parked in the parking space." And as I'm saying that, I could literally hear him checking out, and I could hear the Walmart associate saying the total. And then he said, "Damn, that's it? I thought it was going to be more than that." And then he told the associate to hold on. I'm going to get some more. After he said that, he said to me that he was almost done. He was finishing up and asked me to pull to the front of Walmart. As I'm sitting there waiting on him to come out of Walmart, I'm, again, reflecting on now everything that I have now done. And I'm like, damn, just left the restaurant. Did not click or register. He was supposed to be the one paying. I just gave him money. Why'd I give him my card? I just gave him money. I just kept reflecting, and then there goes the charge on my card. Get the notification to my phone from my bank card. $404 at Walmart. I said, that's when I couldn't take it anymore. So that's when I'm pulling up to the front door at Walmart, and right when I'm pulling up, that's when he's literally coming out. Just so happened to be. So I was doing so much, which prompted him to move. Or was it this? Which one? Oh, okay. I'm trying to finish the story, y'all, but I gotta go on and just show y'all this. In the 2 videos that I just posted, I'm not trying to show him getting kicked out of the apartment of the eviction notice that I posted. I'm showing him getting kicked out of his ex-girlfriend's car. They were outside of her suite where she was doing lashes, and she had him out there sitting on the curb. When you got kicked out of the first apartment, where I met you at, where everything happened, that's when you went to this apartment. The one that I showed, where you got evicted there too. And whose names was they in? And we just gonna continue on. I'm just gonna show the messages one by one. I missed your call the first time because I'm at my cousin's baby shower. You call me again and ask me to send you $200 on Apple Pay. I tell you no. You tell me I'm coming to get the money today anyway, so just send it to you. I said no, and I hung up on you. And that's when you texted me and said, hurry up and come get this stuff. Just continuing to show these messages. But I'm crazy. But I'm lying. Hmm. After I was asking you to pay me back, you wanted to fake be cool, so... Again, asking for my money back. What did you tell me, Mr. Million? What did you tell me? Then what did you ask me? That's the text that I sent. That's the text that he responded. Then I follow up and send him a screenshot showing him that my Cash App account is closed. I even sent him a screen recording to show him that that was my account and that I was telling the truth. He doesn't respond. He ends up calling me, asking me where I'm parked at, and then tells me to pull around in front of the apartment complex and that he was about to come down. This man comes down and gets inside of my car and acts like he did not just text me what he did and said to me. Now he's asking if I can run him up the street to this clothing store to see what they got so he can have an outfit later on for this video shoot. I said, you're talking like you didn't just call me weird. Now you're asking me to take you somewhere. Are you going to send me my money? Now he's saying, you said your Cash App's closed, didn't you? I'm going to have to wait till I get my wallet so I can get some bread to give to you. I eased off and I was like, let me just stay cool with him so he could just pay me back my money. We drive to the clothing store and it wasn't that far away. When we got there, it just happened to be closed. So once it was closed, I told him, I'm looping right back around and we're going back to your apartment. So now I'm saying to myself, talk to him, have a one-on-one with him, and tell him how you really feel. I told him about my abandonment issues with men, as well as my experiences with loaning men money and not being paid back. I'm getting emotional as I'm saying these things, and that's causing him to get upset. And then he says that my crying is making him want to smack me to shut me up. Now he's screaming again. I got $100,000 in the bank. Telling me, oh, he could show me his bank statements. He's not like all these other lame dudes out here. He's touched real paper before. Now he's saying on his granny, on crib, how it's hard to get access to him and how he moves different from all these other dudes. Now he's saying that he's a businessman and $2,000-$3,000, that ain't nothing to him. Saying, why would I run off with a camera and a bunch of camera stuff and stuff from Walmart? He like, that's lame as hell. That's some shit that I don't even gotta do. So I backed off of him again. We get to his apartment complex. He said that he was about to go up to the storage unit and clean it out and reorganize some things. Now he's telling me that I should go get a drink and just hang out and chill out somewhere and just gather my thoughts since I had been upset all day anyway. I told him how I had been driving all day and how I was exhausted and that I just wanted to just chill and just stay still for 1 second. Now I'm saying to him, let me just park on the floor where his apartment was in his assigned parking space. He told me that I could not get up there because, again, he said that he did not have access to the floor and that I would not be able to come down if I went up. I told him that if I leave this apartment complex, then I am going home, and I told him that I am not waiting around on you while you're doing whatever you're doing. Then that's when he says, well, if you don't end up going anywhere and you do end up leaving, just come back and see me before you leave. I looked up the nearest park, which was about 10 minutes away, and when I got there, I had a literal mental breakdown. I was crying uncontrollably to the point where I began to start throwing up. As I'm having my breakdown, I'm just screaming to myself, saying, like, how could you do this to yourself? What are you doing? What are you thinking? Why would you do something like this? By then, I just knew it was time for me to go home for my health. Physically and mentally, I knew I could not go back and face him. Text him, told him I was going home. I was not trying to call him because I did not want to go back and forth and hear any other excuse he had to say. I make it home. He doesn't even reply until hours later, and then that's when he texts me and says, oh, but he misses me. I was asleep the moment I got home, so I did not see that message until I woke up. And when I seen it, I literally only responded, I miss you too, because by then, I was just telling him what he wanted to hear so that he would pay me back. Though I have already posted these messages, I am showing them again. Texted him 5:30 in the morning, asking for my money back. After texting him at 5:30 in the morning, asking for my money back, he hadn't responded until about 10:30 that morning, something like that. So then when he responds, he asks me, when am I coming? And I told him immediately that I had my cousin's baby shower to go to. So now I'm at my cousin's baby shower trying to enjoy myself with family, and he's calling my phone. And I missed the call the first time because I wasn't paying attention to my phone, so I texted him and let him know where I was at and what I was doing and that I would return his call. So now he's calling me again. He didn't respond to my text message. He's calling me again. I answered this phone call because I'm thinking it's related to my money, but it's not. As I answer, I say hello. He says, hey, I need you to Apple Pay me $200. And I tell him, no, I cannot do that. And then he replies back and says, you're coming to get your money today anyway, so just send it to me. I'm going to give you the money back, so just send it to me. And I'm telling him, like, no, I can't do that. I'm going to hit you back, da-da-da. As I'm doing that, like, I'm hanging the phone up on him, like, as he's talking, but I can hear him talking. He's like, nah, hold on, just do it real quick. As he's saying that, that's when I'm hanging up the phone. I've posted these, but I'm showing them again. This is when he texted me right when we got off the phone, and he says, hurry up, come get this stuff so I can let you fly free. This is what I say to him. He tries to make up an excuse and says that he's in Columbus watching the fight, so that's why we can't meet. Then follows it up with, I really like you, don't ruin it. Sir, I do not care about that. Pay me my money. Continuing the messages. Here he is, gaslighting me. Mind y'all, I'm only texting the way I am because I'm trying to stay cool with this man so that he can pay me back. Continuing the messages. What's he saying to me? Stop pressing it like I'm not going to pay you. Like I'm not going to pay you. Here he is, gaslighting me again, talking about I was going to get something the same day if I didn't leave. Sir, that's not what you told me, because if that's what it was, then I would not have left. And then I'm the one who's being weird, but you're the one who's not trying to let me come up. Why? Now, all of a sudden, I'm forcing the problem because I'm asking you to validate when you're paying me back? And here's the next day. I did not text him all day long because I was only going to hit him up around the time when I was coming to get my money. But what's he do? Texts me, what you doing? Trying to be cool, talking about I should rap? Sir, I don't want to be part of your fake record label. Just continuing the messages. Y'all, what do the messages say down there? Mr. Million, you said send you a way to receive the payments so you can type up something promising to pay your installments. As well as telling me that you took the stuff back to Walmart. So after he's telling me to send him a way for me to receive payments, I'm showing him the payments that he has to make. This man tells me he's not paying for the hotel that he asked me to get, the gas that I put in my car used to take him around everywhere, the food that I bought to feed his hungry ass. Everything took me. But what took me was when this man said that he was not paying for the shot that he ordered himself. Right after he texts me that, he instantly calls me. Right when I answer, this man tells me to check my phone. Y'all, I checked my phone. Lo and behold, guess what it was? A picture he took of me without my consent. For those of y'all that know, this is the same picture that this man tried to post of me in a defense for himself, not knowing that he is breaking the law. The moment I seen that picture, I said, WTF is wrong with you? Why would you take that of me? When did you take that of me? This man says to me, this is what he does to women without them knowing. This is what he does for bitches like me from when I try to go to the police or whoever and tell them that he's not trying to pay me back. Then he says, I do this to all the bitches that I'm with just in case that they try to lie on me. I said to him, how are you going to try to take a picture of me without my consent and then you're trying to hold it over my head? I said, who's involved in police? Who's involved in anyone else? Why would anybody need to be involved? Why are you making it seem like you're not going to pay me? Why are you making it seem like this is what you have to use against me? Why? I said, what, you going to post it? What, you going to send it to somebody? What are you going to do with that? And he says, just know that I have this just in case you try to lie on me. I asked him if he could please delete that, and I told him that I did not want any problems, and I just want you to pay me my money back. So now he's saying to me how I need to meet up with him tomorrow to get this money, but I'm telling him how I absolutely have to make it to my stepdad's birthday dinner. So then that's when he says to me that I better come and that I better not be playing any games with him. When we got off the phone, now I'm feeling like I have to explain my every move to this man so that, one, he doesn't post this picture of me, and two, the main thing, so that he pays me back. I screenshot the messages of the plans that I had to show the timestamp and to show that I was not playing any games with this man. Then I'm also telling him, this is what I have going on. This is what I need to pay for. I need my money back. I'm not trying to bug you, but I need my money back. What's this man say to me? He wants me to come do what? To get my money back. When I seen that man text me that, that's when I had the feeling like he is about to make it so difficult for me to get this money back. And then he's about to try to force me to do something with him that I don't want to do to get money back that he owes me. Because I'm like, why would you text me to come do that, but not to come get my money? And for money that he owes me. That man knew at that point in time that I did not want anything else to do with him and that I did not want to talk about anything if we was not talking about him paying me my money back. I worried myself to death that night thinking of every worst possible case scenario that could happen. Then I'm telling myself, just remain positive. This man got money in the bank. Don't underestimate him. Let's just hope that it all works out. When I woke up that next morning, the thought of having to go face this man was literally making me so nauseous, I kept throwing up. I hadn't talked to anyone about the situation, so by then I figured that it was time to confide in a friend about it. After telling them about what was going on, about how he was acting and what he was saying, now my friend is asking me, well, is this man a felon? Who is he? Is that even his real name? Asking me, what do I really know about this man? They told me that he had no right to try to exploit me with the photo, all because he created a debt that he was not trying to pay. They also started digging into me, talking about how I could get into so much trouble about what I had got him and that I had needed to get that back. After speaking with my friend, I told him to call me when he had got up because I needed answers about what was going on and who he actually really was. He called me about an hour later and I'm asking him, is your name your real name? Are you really from where you say you're from? Are you a felon? I asked him what type of business does he do and if he wanted to just get all that stuff just to basically sell it. He does not like me asking him all these questions, so he says, are you police? Why are you questioning me? Are you even coming to get this money, or are you playing games? He's talking about how he had just woke up and how he doesn't want to hear all that, and that now I don't have a choice but to come today to get the money or that I wasn't getting anything at all. I even suggested that he could just send me the money so we don't even have to meet up and do all that. And he told me that he only had money in hand and that I didn't have no other choice but to come pick it up if I wanted it. I told him again about how I didn't want any problems and that I would be on my way. The moment we hung the phone up, I threw up again. Like the entire time we were on the phone, I was literally just sitting there nauseous, sick to my stomach. I could barely even talk to the man. By then, I done threw up so many times, I don't have anything on my stomach, so now I'm throwing up stomach acid. Of course, I hadn't ate anything, and of course, I didn't have an appetite to eat anything, so I was just trying to push through it. I tried to lay down and get some rest because I knew it was an hour-and-a-half drive, and the way that I was feeling right then in that moment, I was not making it. I figured since I wasn't feeling good, I was like, hey, let me ask him if he can meet me halfway because he's probably got his car back now. So this is what I texted him. This is what he responds to me. After he said that, I knew I was going to have to push through this sickness to get on the road to go get my money. So as I was getting on the road, I said, hey, let me stop and get a smoothie. I tried to stop and go get a smoothie. As I'm waiting in the line, what happens? I throw up again. This time when I threw up, it was blood. And I was like, oh no, I've never thrown up blood in my life. And I was so concerned. And of course, I'm trying to prove to him that I'm not lying about being sick. So here I am, sending him a picture of the blood that I threw up. I told him what was going on and that I was taking myself to the hospital. Once I got there, I was so bad off, the nurses recommended me to reach out to a family member to come pick me up. That wasn't something that I wanted to do because I did not want to involve anyone in this dumb situation that I had just put myself in. I knew if I told my family that they would be so disappointed in me. I knew they would support me, but I knew they would be disappointed in me. I didn't have a choice, so I called my mom. My mom comes, and when she comes, of course, she laid the law, and she was like, tell me what was going on. I told her, and she supported me like any other mom would do. As we left the hospital, she told me I was not going back home and that I was coming to stay with her until I got better. I knew that was the best decision to do for my health because I had never, ever felt this way in my life. And the way that my body was feeling, it felt close to death because of how bad I was stressing myself out. On the way to my mom's house, he had texted me and asked me what the people at the hospital had said, but of course I didn't see my phone because I was resting the entire ride. When we got to the house, I didn't have any energy to do anything but go lay down. I hadn't texted him back yet, and so now he called me. He's asking again, what did they say at the hospital? I told him. Now he's saying that I'm playing games. And I told him, I'm not playing games. And I said, please, if I could just hit you up when I feel better and come when I feel better, I would really appreciate that. And I told him, I'm staying at my mom's house right now because that's how really ill I am. Then I said to him, I really, honestly, truly do not have the energy to go back and forth with you right now. And if I could please call you when I feel better. This man replied and said, nah, don't call me at all. And hung the phone up. I had a little trash can next to the bed. The moment he hung the phone up, I literally threw up. I waited a couple minutes and I tried to call this man back. Of course, when I called back, what am I? Blocked. I had felt terrible and I was so sick to the point where I had no energy to even try to find another way to call this man back. All I could do, literally, to physically get myself better was sleep. I was in the bed for the rest of that day and the entire next day. So now here it is, 2 days later, and I'm still sick. And I'm having all those symptoms, and in my head, I'm like, oh no, am I pregnant? Instant panic mode. Now I'm thinking back to when I had went to the hospital and if I had took a test while I was there, and I didn't. I was freaking out because I was like, there's just no way that this could be. It had been a couple days and I was telling myself that I might be unblocked now. So I texted him and I said, hey, did you? And me. The message didn't deliver for a couple minutes, so I'm like, okay, let me call. So I called. It only had rung twice, and then it had went to voicemail, in which I know that means that I'm still blocked. I had felt slightly better, but I wasn't all the way recovered, and I knew the best thing for me to do for my health was to try to get another day's rest before I tried to put so much energy into trying to contact this man. So I rested for the rest of that day, but that next morning when I woke up, I was on it, bright and early, 6 a.m. I had never seen any of his social medias before, but the Facebook dating profile. So now I'm like, let's get on Instagram and try to find him. Of course, I only had this name that he's going by, so I typed that into the search bar and his page pops up. When I seen his page and seen the pictures of this lavish lifestyle that he's supposedly living, I was getting furious because I'm thinking to myself, if he has all this money, why is he acting like this? It was early, but I didn't care. I had called him and I texted him, and this is what I said. I kept calling back to back because I was trying to wake him up because I knew it was early. I waited all day for a response, and I did not get one. My thoughts, my conscience, everything going crazy. So now I'm like, yeah, you need to double down and do your detective work and find this man. I get on Google every day. I Google everything for any little thing. I'm a Google freak. I get on Google his name. Only thing that came up was his Instagram page and his YouTube. I'm scrolling, I'm looking, I'm trying to find anything related to him with this name that he's going by, but I didn't find anything. I even did the Google photo search. I took his photos, tried to put it in the Google search to try to find him. Could not find nothing. I even took his number and searched it on Google. And when I did that, the name that popped up that was supposedly attached to this number or had ties to this number was a different name than this so-called name that he's going by. So now I'm feeling defeated and like I'm never going to be able to find this man. But I knew if you want to find this man, you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do. And that's hire a private investigator. So now I'm back on Google, but this time I'm looking up PIs. And I had came across a couple before I had talked to one who had a very reasonable price. And I told them that I would be giving them a call back if I needed them. It was the end of the week and I was feeling a lot better, so I ended up going home that day. When I made it home, I downloaded another text-free app and I tried to call him again. This time when I download a text-free app, I'm using a number with the Ohio area code because on the first night when we met, he had told me that he had family in Ohio. So I figured if I use an Ohio area code that he would answer, thinking that it was somebody that he knew. I called, it rung a couple times, and he answered. I instantly asked, why did you block me? Why are you not hitting me back? What's going on? He replies to me and says, man, I just blocked 6 motherfuckers. Who is this? I said, the girl who you owe money. I told you days ago that I was sick and that I would hit you up when I felt better. It's Tay. And then I said, you blocked me right when we got off the phone. Why was that? This man hung up. Of course, I tried to call back. No answer. That's when I reached back out to the private investigator. After reaching back out to the private investigator, they had told me to send all the information that I had on him, so I did. But then they told me that they would get back to me that next morning because it was after their work hours. I could barely sleep that night. I woke up around like 4 o'clock in the morning, and when I did, something told me to just check his Instagram. I looked at the story, and the first thing I had seen was him posting a screenshot from Apple Music of a song that he had did with someone, and he had tagged the person. The next post he made was just of himself sitting somewhere out and about at a restaurant. Then the next post was of a plate of food and a drink. Of course, I'm just clicking. And then I see the next post is of him driving. And I'm like, oh, so is this the supposed being struck that you was getting wrapped matte black that you had left your key fob and your wallet in? The next post he had made, he was just talking about how his birthday was that following Monday. Then the last post he made was of some pendant. This is what he posted, and I'm thinking to myself, if you're out here customizing pendants, then you should be able to pay me back. Matter of fact, that should be the money that you're using to pay me back before you try to get something customized. Once I seen all that, I was like, there is no way that I'm finna let up on his ass, because how is it that you a grown man out here portraying like you got so much money going by Mr. Million, but yet you trying to run off and dodge me for a debt that you done created because you think that I'm playing sick or lying about being sick? I patiently waited all morning for the PI to reach back to me, and when they finally texted me and told me to check my email, I could not believe what I had seen. They sent me this and this. My mother mouth dropped. I could not believe that this name that he was going by was not his real name. And I'm thinking to myself, so now he's just out here just going by his rap name or his stage name, telling people that that's his real name? Of course, once they sent me that, they followed up with the question, is this the person that you're looking for? Once I said yes, they started sending me some more stuff. And that's when I found out that he was not from LA like he said. He was from Columbus, Ohio. So now a couple things are clicking, and I'm like, okay, this is the supposed family that he was talking about that he had in Ohio, but he's really from Columbus, Ohio. By then, I'm thinking that I had got all the information that I had needed. It was a lot for me taking all that in, so I basically had just chilled out for the rest of the day. It was the weekend, so I knew I couldn't really do anything until the following week, so I just took the time to really just decompress. Once Monday came, that morning I got straight up and went straight to the police station. Once I got there and told them about what was going on, they first told me about how I could get myself into a lot of trouble for what I had done for him. And then they were saying that basically it would just be best for me to take him to small claims court. If you know anything about small claims court, then you know that even if you do win the judgment against that person, that you still have to retrieve and get the money from them on your own. I was thinking about that the entire time as they were talking and recommending me to do that. Now I'm saying to them, I did not know that what I had did could possibly get me in trouble, and now I'm asking if they could escort me over to his place to get all this stuff back and my money back that I had asked for. They said that they could, but they also said that they could not force him to give me anything back and that I would basically have to just take it up in court. I left there feeling defeated again, but I said I'm going to give it a couple days and I'm going to hit him up again because I am not about to let up. I let 2 days go by and I'm like, go back and check the Facebook dating profile and see if you blocked on there. I went and checked and I was not blocked on there, so I was like, let me screen record his profile. This was the profile. After I did that, I was like, let me write him. So I wrote him and I was like, I want my shit back. And I had clicked off of it. May have been for 5 to 10 minutes. And I clicked back on. I'm blocked. I downloaded another text-free app, texted him again, let him know who it was, let him know that I didn't want any problems and that I've been trying to reach out to him multiple times. And I told him, you know you need to give me my shit back. He didn't reply for a couple hours. And then when he did, he texted back and said, what time? I texted right back and I said, can I come now? He texted me right back and said that he was in Atlanta. I replied and I said, okay, so when we gonna meet then? And he didn't reply back for hours. Then he finally replied back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon talking about, we gonna meet tonight. I knew he was gonna try to pull some late shit again. So I said, what time? It'll have to be before 8 p.m. I can't come past then. And then I said to him, it didn't have to be this difficult. Just tell me a time when we can meet. He gonna reply back and say, after 8 p.m. is cool. Then he texted back again and said, oh, I'm not gonna be back by then. I said to him, I cannot come that late, but if you're gonna be back tonight, then we can just meet first thing in the morning. And he replied back and he said that that was cool. So after an hour goes by, something tells me to check his Instagram. I checked the story. Where was his location? Right in Cincinnati, Ohio. I could not help myself. I texted this man again. I said, I know you are not in Atlanta. Can you please stop playing games with me? And can I please come and get my shit? This man replied to me and said that he was in Atlanta. We went back and forth, and then the things that I said to him prompted him to tell me that I was playing police games with the wrong guy. I said to him, nothing is police about what I am saying, and if you would answer the phone so we wouldn't even have to text, then it wouldn't even have to be this difficult once again. He replied and said, if you're going to meet me in the morning, then just stop texting me. Thank you. So I stopped texting him. I texted that next morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. What time? He told me to come now. These were the rest of the messages. And notice how he asked me, who are you with? I told him I'm by myself. I'm thinking to myself, this man is asking me who am I with because he's either thinking that I'm really police or that he thinks I'm finna set him up. That was the furthest thing from what I was trying to do because by then I was just trying to get my shit back without no hassle. When I finally got there, I told him that I was outside in hopes that he would come out. But no, he responds to me and says, come to the 5th floor. I tried to tell him that I couldn't find a parking spot and that I was just sitting there in hopes again that he would come down, but no response. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to have to go up there. I walk up to the front door and I ask him to buzz me in. Of course, he sees that message though and buzzes me right on in. Once he buzzed me through the front door, by the time I got to the elevator, he had already given me access to make it up to the 5th floor. Mind y'all, he's given me access to the building and the elevator through this app that he had downloaded on his phone that he had told me about. As I talked about in part 3, once I made it up to the 5th floor, I had walked towards the lounge area and it had see-through glass. So once I looked through the glass and I didn't see anyone, I had texted him and I said that I'm here. As I'm looking down, just scrolling on my phone, I hear a door open. And when I look up, it's the door opening from the patio and it's him standing right there. I said, what's up? And he was literally just standing there with the door open. And then he said, man, can you just come out here? And so I did. When I walked through the door, I said, what's up? What are we doing? And he had just shut the door and started walking towards this hammock that they had in the middle of the patio. Once he made it to the hammock, he sits down, kicks both of his feet up, crosses them, and then puts his hand together like this and is sitting there looking at me. I had not moved from the spot where I was standing at, so he says to me to come over here. Once I walked over there, I was just standing right there again, and there was chairs around, so he's telling me to sit down. I said, no, I am not sitting down. I came to get what you told me you was going to give, so give it to me so I can go. Now he's saying to me that I'm being hostile and that I need to chill out and calm down. I told him that I was over all this and I'm just ready to get it over with. The man had on a collared shirt and some regular pants on, talking about how he had to just leave from doing business just to come here to the apartment to deal with this. So then he says to me, the day you were supposed to get your money, you was playing sick. And I was saying to him, I have no reason to play sick. I really did go to the hospital. This man told me to prove it. He said, call the hospital right now and get your records and put them on speakerphone so I can hear. I'm saying, that's weird as fuck. I don't got no reason to lie, so here, I'm finna call him. Lies have been said. Lies are still going to be said. So I'm showing every single receipt. So I went and I pulled my call records just to show the same date, June 28th, the day I went, and then the phone call to the hospital and the duration for 4 minutes. Here's the hospital that I went to just to cross-reference the phone numbers. So I call the hospital. I'm talking to the records lady, and I'm asking her, can you pull up my last visit, please? She pulls it up, and she says, yes, this is the day that you was here, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. As she's talking, saying that, I look over to him. I'm like, can you hear that? And he's trying to tell me that that was the wrong day and that the day I was supposed to come was a different day. Then he's asking, what time did I leave from there? I had texted you and you didn't respond. So I said, ma'am, what time did I discharge? And she said the time, and I said, thank you. So now he's saying, nah, you lying, nah, you lying. And me and him's going back and forth as the lady sitting there on the phone. She's like, ma'am, you need anything else from me, ma'am? So then I finally was like, no, ma'am, you can hang up, thank you. Once I hung up, I'm sitting there telling him I don't got shit to lie about. The nurse had told me military time, so here I go, back on Google, and I Google the time. Once I had got the time, I pulled up my call log, I pulled up the text messages. I was showing him the timestamps to corroborate with what I was saying and to let him know I really did go to the hospital. Now he's saying to me, are you playing games? What are you on? I screamed at him. Why would I be here if I was playing games? You just made me drive all the way up this road to sit here and go back and forth talking with me. Give me my shit. Now lower your voice, lower your voice. He raised up at the hammock and he was like, man, come on, man. I followed behind him and I said, where are we going? And he said, just be cool. We about to go down to the apartment. As we're getting in the elevator, I see he has a car key fob hooked to one of his belt loops. I wasn't really trying to look at him like that. I had just glanced and saw, so I couldn't really tell what type of car the key fob was for. I had the slightest thought, like, was this key for the mystery Benz trip? We make it down to the apartment. Once we get inside, he walks towards the couch, sits down, and gets comfortable. I barely even walked in, and I was just standing there like, what are we doing? This man said to me that I needed to chill out and be cool and to sit down. When I sat down, now he's asking me why I asked him for the stuff back so quick. And he's saying again, why did I press him like he's not going to pay me back? Now he's asking, are you police? What do you want? Are you trying to set me up? So I said to him, how can I be on any of that when you have my information? Make that make sense. So this is when he pulled his phone out and proceeded to try to start recording me. As some of y'all might know, the video that he tried to post to me sitting on the couch in that apartment. Now, I'm about to be really transparent. I was not even going to show this video because I look a mess, because I was stressed out. But I'm going to show it because receipts need to be shown. This is the video in question. I'm so glad that he showed the timestamp and the date. He even tried to take a comment from a fake page that he made. He's the fake page king, but we're going to get to that in the later parts. Took the comment from the fake page that he made and tried to make a video to it. I tried to green screen the video so I can show the entire video with the audio, but for some reason the audio is not working when I try to do it. Basically, the video was him trying to fake question me and just to have something that he could have under his belt. He had literally told me before he started recording that he was about to start recording. I said to him, I could pull my phone out and start recording you too. And that's when he actually pulled his out and started recording. For those that have seen the video, if you couldn't tell, my heart was beating out my fucking chest. I was terrified. And I was so stressed. Like, I was just going through so much. I had so much on my mind. And I was so over the entire situation. And on top of me being irritated, but I'm trying to stay calm as well. Little did he know, I was just trying to tell him whatever he wanted to hear so that I could get my shit back. One of the questions he asked was, had he ever been in possession of my stuff? And I told him, well, you had a paper with my address on it. And then he wants to cut the video off. But I continued to say, you had my card and you was standing behind me at Best Buy. Da 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 da. I said all of that as well, but that wasn't on camera. When he stopped recording, now he's telling me that he has that for if I try to go to the police and lie on him. I said again, why would I be going to the police? Can we please just get this over with? Can I get my shit back, please? I literally kept saying, please. I really wanted to spaz out in there, but I just tried my best to stay cool because, again, I wanted my shit back. I wish I could green screen the video so y'all could hear the background to the video. Those of you that do know and have heard, the background to the video, it was music playing and it was Bobby Valentino. Why was that? This sick-ass motherfucker was trying to set a tone for what he was about to try to do to me next. Mind y'all, from the time I got there, he was playing music. He had a little Bluetooth speaker on him. As we went back and forth, now he's getting up off the couch and he's telling me that I need to show him that I'm not going to go to the police. Talk about I got to show him that he can trust me. I said, trust me? Nigga, what? I've already went out of my way helping you because you said you didn't have your wallet. And I don't have the police here with me right now. That should be enough trust. He gets up off the couch and as he's doing that, he's saying again, show me that I can trust you. I said, I don't know how I'm going to do that. I've already done that enough. He pulls his little weenus out and starts doing this in front of me. Then he's talking about it. I said, nigga, no, I should not have to do that. I am not doing that. That is wrong. I should not have to do that to get my money back. He talking about just do it real quick. Show me that I can trust you. As he's saying that, I'm like, no, I shouldn't have to do that. Stop. So now he's saying, well, if you don't want to do that, let's then. And I said, no. He slightly pulled my arm and pulled me off the couch and towards the kitchen counter. And I literally was crying and I begged and I said, stop. I am on my period. Please stop. He's like, you lying. Let's just do it real quick. And I said, no, I'm not lying and I'm not trying to do that with you. I said, here, give me a paper towel. I'll show you. He talk about nah, it's cool. You don't even got to do all that. I'm not no pissed. As he's saying that, he's pulling his pants back up. Now he's telling me to go sit back down on the couch. As I'm going to sit back down on the couch, he gets on top of his kitchen counter and stands up and reaches over one of his cabinets and grabs something. He tosses on the couch one of the things that I was asking for back. And then he says to me, pull your phone up so I can send you this money. I'm ready to get this shit over with. his whole tone and his whole demeanor changed. Like, he sounded like he was on some cool shit. And I literally, like, took a deep breath. And I was like, whew, okay, maybe he's not on nothing no more. He asked me if I had Zelle. I said that I did. Then he tells me to pull up my Zelle account. So I click on my Zelle app, and I had totally forgot that it was now connected to my banking app that was connected to my debit card. So on my banking app, the tabs at the bottom, one of the tabs is basically a Zelle tab, and that's the tab that you click on. But if you clicked on another tab, you could basically see the balance in my account. I tell him that I have it now pulled up. Then he says to me to pass him my phone, and I said, no, I shouldn't have to do that. And now he's saying that he's about to wire transfer the money to me, like phone to phone. I have never done that before, so I didn't know anything about it. Mind y'all, I do not know nothing about sending money to and from back and forth to people. That is not something that I do. I was sitting there looking and listening, and he's like, do you want this money back or not? I'm about to give it to you. I said, yeah, I want my shit back. So he's like, give me your phone then. I'll say again, his whole tone had changed. So I thought he was trying to be cool and really give me my money back. So I gave him my phone. As he had the phone, I'm sitting there, I'm like, he's telling me, you don't got to do all that. This is about to be quick. I'm paying you back. You see, I'm trying to pay you back. So I was like, okay. And I eased off for like 2 seconds. Now he's telling me that it's not working. I'm like, what do you mean it's not working? And then I'm like, well, my bank is an old bank. It's not like a Chase or a Bank of America or nothing like that. So maybe I might not be able to receive a large sum of money. Again, I do not know about sending the money back and forth to and from. None of that. I don't do that. So he's telling me how he's done tried to send me the money. And again, it's not working. I was going to wait until the later parts, but I'm going to show y'all what he was actually doing when he had my phone. This is what Mr. Million was doing when he had my phone. No, I did not know this is what he was doing at the time. I found this out after the fact. He tried to send himself $1,000. As you can see, the little California bank account down there. Didn't go through because I'm not able to send a large amount like that with the bank that I have. So now he's asking me, would I be okay with going to go open up a bank account somewhere close? And then he's like, oh, you can go open it up at Truist. It was literally right down the street. He's like, you want to go open up a bank account so I can send you this money because your bank's not trying to let me send it to you. At that point, yes, I was desperate. I wanted my money back. Yes. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I'll go make the account. That's fine. When he handed me my phone back, it was on our messages. And I looked, and in the message bubble to send, it was $400 on the Apple Pay. But it hadn't sent. It was just sitting there. And I'm like, that's odd. That's strange. In my head, I was like, was this the money that he's trying to send me? As we're walking out of the apartment, he's telling me, look at you. Your whole demeanor's done changed. Your facial expressions, everything. And I'm telling him, yeah, because now you're finally not playing any games and you're giving me my shit back. So I feel better. Now he trying to be on some cool shit, talking about some, man, I was going to pay you back this whole time. You was just pressing me. As we're going back and forth, we're walking out of the apartment, and the elevator was right there outside his apartment door. When that elevator door opened, my heart dropped. The nice man that had helped me and let me in the building that I talked about back in part 7, he was standing in the elevator. I was like, ah, no. When we stepped into the elevator, I was in my head like, please, 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 please do not say one word to me. Do not ask me, did I find who I was looking for? Nothing. I'm thinking I'm finna get my money back. So I was praying that that man did not say nothing to me to upset Mr. Million in that elevator. I'm looking down. I'm on my phone. I'm not trying to make no eye contact. So now Mr. Million starts talking to me saying, oh, you need to call your bank and see what the limit is to see how much money I can send you. Trying to sound all business like. As we're getting off the elevator, we're walking outside. He's asking me, where am I parked at? I'm like, oh, you not driving? He like, nah, I don't feel like it. Can you drive? At that point, I was just like, whatever. I was ready to get my money back, so I'm like, I'll drive. So as we're walking to the car, I'm calling my bank, and I get a hold. I'm talking to someone, and I asked what my limit was. They said that I would be able to receive any amount of money, but I cannot send out a large sum of money. I told him what they said, and he says to me, like, we're already on the way, so let's just go make this account. He says that it's better for me to go on and make the account anyway at a newer bank, but since my bank was old. As we were on the way to the bank, he's telling me that I was going to need $500 to open up this account, and I was telling him that I didn't have that much money on me and that I only had about $50 on me. He says, I just came here to open up a business account, and when I came, they told me that I had to have $500 to even open up the account. I said, well, I only got $50 on me, but I'm sure they're going to let me do it. Now he's on the phone with one of his supposed artists, and he's asking her if she's ready to get to this money. He's ready to sign her to his label. It's Million Music. We going global. We about to blow. Then he's telling her how he's about to get her a chain made. All of that. Like, it's about to be the best record label that she ever got signed to. By then, we were pulling up to the bank, and right when we pulled up, I hopped straight out. He was trying to say something to me, but as he was talking, I shut the door on him and walked straight in. I was able to open the account, and I was in there for maybe 20, 30 minutes. When I came back out, walked to my car, he was not in it. I called him and asked him where he went, and he said I left him in a hot-ass car, so he went and took a walk. He was like, I'm right around the corner, so here I come. When he came around the corner, he had a pair of Versace sunglasses on his face. And I'm like, he left the house with no sunglasses, and I have the same exact pair of sunglasses. I had wore the sunglasses on my way down there, so I had put them in my center console. So I look in my center console, they were not there. The moment he got in my car, I said, are those my sunglasses? He like, yeah, you see the sun's out. I needed some sunglasses for the walk I was taking. I reached so quick, and I was like, give me my sunglasses. I just gave him a stare because I'm like, why are you going through my car looking for stuff? So then he asked me, so was you able to open the account? And I said, yes. So then he says, let me see your account number so that I can have it to send you the money. So that's when this next video that he tried to post comes into play. This video. Yes, I know. Very dumb of me to do. But again, I just wanted him to send me my money. So now I ask and say, when are you going to send me the money now that I've opened up the account? He says, I can't send you the money today because if I do, then it might get flagged for fraud. He was like, you can't send large amounts of money once you just open a bank account. You're going to have to wait a couple days. He said, trust, you good. I got you in a couple days. I just don't want your account to get flagged. After that, I instantly pulled off and was on my way back to his apartment. And now he's asking me, what you about to do? And I said, I'm about to make my way back. He's like, I'm about to come back with you. I said, no, you're not. I have plans today with my dad, and I cannot miss that. I had meant to say in the last parts, when we were back at the apartment, he had asked me why I had an old bank, and I told him that I had shared a bank account with my dad. So now he's saying, you must be real close with your dad, share bank accounts, all type of shit. I say, yes, I am close with him, but he also got in a very bad motorcycle accident, so I have to go check on him. In which my dad really did 2 weeks prior to that day, and I was really going to check on him. So then he asked, you want to go to Atlanta today? He like, I know you got plans with your pops, but if I come back with you, we can just go to Atlanta right after that. He like, you think you can get a rental and we can go? I said, absolutely not. Like I told you before, I have plans and I am not missing them. He like, come on, man, just come kick it with me in the A, just come on. Then he say the magic line, I'ma pay for it. I told him again, nah, I'm cool. I can't do that. He didn't even reply. He just looked down, scrolling on his phone. He then made a phone call to a female where he was talking business. He starts telling her how he can get her approved for an apartment. He's asking her how many kids does she have, how many bedrooms does she want, if she's deposit ready. He told her once she sent the deposit, then he'll start on her process. He was also telling her how he could help her get half off on her bills. I was really just tuning him in and out. As we made it back to the apartment, I pulled right up in the front. He hops right out the car and didn't say a word. I rolled my window down. I was like, when are you going to hit me up? He says, I got you. I'm going to hit you up soon. So I left. I make it back down the road, and as I'm almost home, he FaceTimes me. Same video he posted holding the money, talking about he up 30 racks that same day. Well, he must have took the video before or after he FaceTimed me because it's the same exact money that he FaceTimed me and showed me. He's so dumb. He's posting his camera roll showing how he was just with me, didn't up no money to pay me back. Then the next video he's trying to post, he's showing money. Why did you wait till I leave to up 30 racks, Mr. Million? When I answered the FaceTime, he's just sitting there showing me the money. I didn't say one word. He like, yeah, I'm really like that. You think somebody playing with you, I'm really like that. Then he says, hold on, and hangs up. I waited like 5 minutes and I called him right back. No answer. I really had plans that day and I wasn't able to even entertain all that. That night when I finally got home, something told me to just check his Instagram story. So when I checked his Instagram story, he was in Atlanta. posting up in the hotel room in a robe, popping champagne bottles, and of course with a bitch. This man's having himself a little photo shoot in his robe and with the champagne. I'm like, oh, okay. You got a bitch there with you, taking pictures with the camera that I just got, that you said that you're not giving me back, that you're going to pay me back for. I check his Instagram story the next day. He's posted up at a pool, and when he's showing the scenery, of course, he shows some feet in the video. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely with a bitch. It was just hilarious to me because I was like, you literally was just asking me to come to Atlanta with you earlier and get a rental for you at that. Like, what? I'm like, yeah. I knew he was going to make his way down there regardless and probably with the bitch. It didn't surprise me. I honestly did not care about him being with someone else. I just wanted my money back. I felt like it had been long enough. I waited the 2 days that he had said. So I texted, I said, hey, what's up? He's talking about, oh, I'm not in town right now. Sir, I don't want to see you. I'm talking about what's up. I'm asking what you want with my money when you sending something. I was only texting him like that because I was just trying to fake be nice and fake be cool so that he could give me my money back. I was texting him every day. I'm on your boots, Mr. Million, because there's no way you finna try to up racks on me, but yet you're avoiding me. How you gonna tell me to wait a couple days and you gonna send me something, but now you're not responding? At that time, in that moment, my thoughts was, he's out of town, he's with a bitch, so of course he's not responding. In the midst of the days going by, I got curious and I called Best Buy and I called Walmart and got both receipts. Here's the Best Buy receipt. This is what he got from Best Buy. Here's the Walmart receipt. I'm going over it. I'm like, okay. He got a drink. I seen him drinking that. Don't know what the second thing was. Seen him eating the Ruffles as he was walking out of the store. I heard the wine bottles clinking together as he was putting shit in my trunk. Site merch. That was a t-shirt. So random little t-shirt. The Weave Tower's a clothesbin. Got a drill, I'm assuming, to put the TV up. 2 pillows, a rod for the curtains, bed in a bag, that's sheets and pillowcases, a blanket, a rug. This man gets him a safe, pack of socks, Fruit of the Loom 6-pack t-shirts. So if y'all see him in a white t-shirt, I bought him. Blackout curtains. I don't know what that 9-piece star is. Another 6-pack of socks, 2 candles, and a lighter. Once I seen the receipts and the payments was being taken out of my account for the Best Buy lease, I had to text him again. Texted a screenshot showing where they took the payment out of my account, as well as showing him the lease. I was being too fucking nice, all because I just wanted to get my money back. I texted that in the morning and he hadn't responded all day long. So then I had texted again and I said, what, I have to come do something sexual with you to get my money back? I only said that because of my last encounter with him, so I'm wondering, that's what it has to take to get my money back? Like, that's what you want, so that's why you trying to dodge me because I didn't want to do nothing with you? And he responds and he says, nah, I'm cool on all that, but are you coming tonight? Right after he sent that text message, he's calling me. When I answered, he told me he's not playing any more games with me and that I had no other choice but to come get the money tonight or he wasn't giving me anything. I said to him again, you can just send me the money so I do not have to come. He says again, he only has cash in hand, so I have to come get it. I'm asking, can I meet him in the morning because it was nighttime. He's like, here you go. You playing again. I told you, you're not going to get nothing if you don't come now. I said, whatever. I'm about to be on my way. I said, don't make me drive all the way out there and then you the one who's playing games. He said, man, if you just don't come on. We hung the phone up. I texted him. I let him know what my ETA was going to be. He said okay, and then he said to share my location. I never did. I just told him how long I was going to be, and then I told him once I got there that I was there. He buzzed me in, gave me access to the front door and the elevator, and I went right up to his apartment. I make it up to the apartment. He lets me in. He goes, sits down on the couch, starts chilling. I literally barely walked in the apartment, and I was like, where's the money? He asked me to come sit down. I was literally just standing there staring at him. Then he asked me again to come sit down, and then I did. We were sitting on 2 opposite couches, basically just facing one another. When I sat down, he was like, "You look good. I like your hair." I gave him the stellest thank you. I had observed the room. I noticed the carpet right there that my feet was on, and the TV had already been mounted to the wall. I say, "What's up? What's going on? What are we doing here?" He says, "Why can't you just sit there and be cool?" I said, "I did not come here to hang out. You know what I came for." Then he asks me, "Why are you even here?" I said, "Are you kidding me? You just asked me to drive down here to get the money that you owe me. What are you talking about?" I said, "There's no way. You just told me to come down here and you just asked me that question." He says, "The last time you were here, I gave you back one of the items you was asking for. Now you here asking about some money." I repeat it again. "Why would you tell me you're going to pay me back? Why would you ask me to drive all the way down here to come meet you to get the money?" I said, "You had me go open up a whole bank account just to have me sitting right here in front of you? For what? Why did I go open the bank account?" Now he's questioning me. "What, you got a pimp? You kept talking about your dad this, your dad that, but what, you really got a pimp or something?" He laughs and says, "You owe your pimp money, don't you?" I said, "What the fuck do I look like having a pimp? And if I did have one, don't you think he would be here with me right now?" So then he says, "What, are you the feds? What, are you a CI? What, you wearing a wire or something?" I said, "Why do you keep bringing up police? If you haven't done anything to have them involved, then why do you keep bringing them up?" He's like, he's been in shootouts before. He's been shot. Everything I've been doing, like coming into his apartment looking for him, blowing his phone down. He said people get unalive for doing shit like that. He then asked me, "Have you ever been to jail before?" I said yes. He says, "Me too. So you can see why I've been feeling skep about the way you've been acting." When he's saying all that, I'm just observing his actions, and I had seen a pillow right there sitting next to him. I did not know what was behind that pillow. Now I'm starting to freak out a little bit, and I'm like, why did I just come up here, one, by myself, two, without any protection? I left my protection in the car only because I didn't want him to see it in my purse, think that I was trying to set him up, or think I was trying to come there and intentionally harm him. I didn't want him to think anything. Again, trying to prove myself. No reason that I had to. I just wanted my money back, and I did not expect things to go left. I was sitting there looking distraught. I was probably pale, looking sick. I'm like, damn, how did I get myself in this situation? He says, "Why you sitting there looking with that dumbass look on your face, looking all silly as hell?" I said, "Can you just give me my money back, please, so I can go?" He says, "I took that shit back to Walmart. It should have been posted back on your card." I said, "Do you realize it's been 2 weeks? That would have been posted back on my card. You know you didn't take that shit back to Walmart." I said, "This is the carpet that you got from Walmart that I got my feet on. That's the TV hanging up on the wall." "No, it's not. No, it's not." He said, "Does that even look like the TV that you got?" I looked up. I said, "Yeah, it does." He says, "Well, it's not." I said, "If you really took that stuff back, it should have been posted to my card days afterwards." He told me, "That's on you." Said, "Well, I took it back. I don't know what to tell you." I said, "Well, I got the receipt sent to me, so I can just pull it up." I tried to pull the receipt up in my email, but from where we were going back and forth, I'm nervous, shaky. I couldn't even find it. I'm like, fuck, because I was trying to be quick on my feet. When I couldn't find it, I said, "It don't matter. I know what you got. You can't take back wine. You can't take back ruffles that you ate, the drink that you drunk, socks, t-shirts." He just kept deflecting. I said, "I told you my situation. I'm broke. I don't got it like that. I really need this money back." He says, "You should be more worried about going out here getting to it instead of bugging me since you so broke." I said, "Coming from the person who said they got $100,000 in the bank and that they was going to pay me back." So now he asks again, "What, you police? What, you a CI? What, you got a wire on?" He says, "I'm really trying to figure you out." I said, "What have I done for you to keep saying and bringing up the police?" He replies and just says, "Show me that I can trust you. Show me that you're not the police." I said, "You keep saying that. I've done enough for you to trust me. I don't know what else you want me to do. I just want my money back, please." He says to come this weenus to show him that I don't have a wire on. I told him, "You sound absolutely insane, and that's not what I'm about to do." He told me, "Oh, yes, I was." I'm not going to go into full detail about what happened because it's too explicit, but what happened to me was not consensual. And in that moment, I was not able to physically overpower him. It all transpired within like 3 to 5 minutes. He was saying to me how he's been seeing me watching all his Instagram stories and that I've been checking for his location. And I was pleading to him that I didn't want any problems and that's not what I was on. He says, "What you trying to see then? You see I'm a fucking celebrity, don't you? Stop playing with me." The tears was just rolling and he's telling me to stop crying. I was in shock, numb, stiff. I just began to silent cry. Next thing I know, he even grabbed inside and felt inside of my shirt, I guess for whatever imaginary wire he was looking for. Next thing I know, he has a handful of my hair, pulls my head back, and is telling me, "Bitch, moan." Not much longer after that, he finishes on me and on the floor, and he just went back, sat down on the couch, scrolled on his phone like nothing happened. I stood in like a state of shock, not even realizing what just happened to me. I'm just going to stop and explain about something that I have learned about, and it's called the 5 F's. Fight, flight, freeze, flop, and friend. The F that I experienced was freeze. Freezing is not giving consent. It is an instinctive survival response. I walked towards the kitchen sink, started to clean myself off. I even had to take my sandal off and wash that off too. I took a deep breath. I said, "You got what you wanted. You need to pay me back now so I can go." He says to pull the Best Buy lease up. I said, "What happened to you just giving me the money?" And he says again to pull the lease up. I said, "You can pull the lease up on your phone." He said, "Just pull the lease up so I can pay it." I was just ready to get it over with, so I pulled the lease up on my phone. Once I pulled the lease up, I had it on the page where he could have just paid the payment. When I handed him my phone, I was right there, right up on him, and he was telling me, "You see, I'm trying to pay you, so just back up." I looked towards the TV, and then when I had glanced back down towards my phone, I'm like, hold on, is he putting in the passcode to my phone? I don't have my phone set up to where it locks after so long. I have to physically lock and unlock it. But then I'm like, he can't know my passcode, so there's no reason why he'd have to do that. I had looked over for a quick second, but then I was like, maybe I'm just tripping. I glanced back at the TV. When I did that, now he's passing me my phone back, and he's like, "Here, it's done." When I looked down and I seen it had said payment made, processing, lease paid off, all of that. I had a sigh of relief, and I'm just looking down at the phone and the lease, analyzing everything, and he's like, "Damn, you can't even say thank you?" I said, "I don't think I should have to do that. Are you going to give me the rest of the money or send it?" He says to me, "Nah, we about to do the responsible thing, and I'm about to pay your bills up." I said, "That's very nice of you, but that's not what I want. I just want the money back." He said, "You've been talking about how you so broke, so I'm trying to do the responsible thing and help you out and pay your bills up." I told him that that wasn't really necessary, and he says that that's something that he wanted to do because he wanted to help me out. I was just like, whatever, that's fine. So now he's like, "What bills do you got?" And I said, "I just have my electric bill to pay, and I have my credit card bill to pay that includes the $400 that you spent at Walmart." My credit card balance was over $800. He tells me to first pull up my credit card banking mobile app so that he can pay it off. As I'm pulling that up, he gets a phone call from one of his friends. They're going back and forth. The friend asked him about some girl that he sees on his Instagram, and he's asking him how he knows her. He says, "Man, you know how many bitches is in my follows and in my likes and try to talk to me daily? I don't be paying attention to that shit." The friend was talking about how she was such a baddie, and he was talking about how he didn't give a fuck about that shit right now. That's not what he was focusing on. As he's saying all that, he's clicking on YouTube. Now he's playing his music and his music videos. He tried to do that shit when we was in the car, and I didn't pay attention to it or acknowledge it then. So in my head, I'm like, I don't understand why he's trying to put this shit on the TV now. I don't give a fuck. Again, I pulled up the screen to where he could just make a payment on the credit card, and I passed him my phone. And this time, I could actually see him entering in some bank account information. The friend was asking him about some music video that he had just done. Then he was asking him about why he had posted it on Instagram and then took it down. He told his friend that it didn't have enough likes and views for him, so that he was going to repost it. I'm like, it's only been 2.5, 3 weeks, and you already made a music video with the camera and the rest of the shit from Best Buy? He finishes what he's doing, passes me my phone back, and it was on the screen where it has said payment processing, like he had paid for it. Now he's saying to me to pull up my electric bill. I pull up my electric bill to the page where he could just make a payment. As I was about to pass him my phone, now he's saying, "Oh, I made a DoorDash order, and they're saying that it should be delivered," and asked, Would you mind going out to check and see if it's out there? I thought to myself, like, yeah, just go out here and check and see what he's done and see if he actually made these payments. So I say to him, that's fine, but I'm not leaving without my phone. Like, I was literally in the midst of passing him the phone and I took the phone back. He like, that's cool. I don't want your phone no way. You could take your phone. I said, I'm not trying to get locked in or out of this building anywhere. So yes, I need my phone. He was telling me to not step all the way outside then and then I won't get locked out. I'm like, that's fine, but I'm still taking my phone. And I'm saying that as I'm walking towards the door. When I walked out, I instantly pulled the lease up and I'm clicking through it, looking through the payments, and it had said there was no other payments that need to be made and that it was fully paid off. I pulled up the credit card banking mobile app. I checked that again. It had said payment processing. I had a sigh of relief and I was just like, it's finally almost over. I make it to the door that's leading out to the garage. There was no food sitting out there. I waited a couple minutes and then I was like, yeah, I'm about to go back inside. I went back inside the apartment and I told him I didn't see any food or anyone out there. He says, that's cool, and then says to pull my electric bill back up. So I pulled back up the page to where he could just make a payment on my electric bill. I handed him my phone, and again, I was right there watching to see what he was doing. And I could see, again, that he was entering in a bank account. A couple minutes go by, and then he says, here, I'm done, and hands me my phone back. When I looked at my phone, it said there was a $500 payment processing. So now I'm like, whew, okay, well, I'm about to head out of here. He says, nah, hold on 1 second. I think I overpaid you. I said, overpaid me? How could you have overpaid me? And he said that he shouldn't have put $500 toward my electric bill and that was too much. So now he's telling me I owe him money. Then he says, if I don't pay him back, then he's going to cancel both payments that he just made. I said to him, I don't know what to tell you. I told you my situation and I don't have nothing to give you. I said, when it posts to my account, then I can send you something back. But right now, I told you my situation and I don't have nothing that I can give you. He says to me, I don't give a fuck about your situation. Fuck your situation. You got to pay me. He was like, bitch, you owe me $500 and I want that shit right now. I said, I don't have $500 right now to give you, so I don't know what to tell you. By then, he raised up off the couch, stood in front of me, and now he's telling me I don't have a choice but to pay him back right now. He told me that if I knew what was best for me and if I knew what was safe for me, that I would pay him back right now. After what he had just did to me and after all the uncrypt this and uncrypt that and me thinking he's in a gang, I was terrified. I said, I can't give you $500 tonight. I can give you $200. And he said, yeah, send that shit right now. So in a state of panic, I Apple paid him the $200. He tells me, nah, that's not how he wanted it. He wants it in cash right now and that I had no other choice but to go to the ATM and get that shit off. I said, listen, I don't want no problems. I just want this to be over with. He walked back into the bedroom and then came back out. I did not know what he walked in there and got. He says, let's go. I'm coming to the ATM with you. I told him I can run and just come back, and he told me no, I didn't have a choice and that he was coming with me. Then he tells me, I'm about to send you $100 back and then you get $100 out of the ATM. In the midst of all of that, we're walking out of the apartment. We make it down to my car and I head to the nearest ATM, which was Speedway right around the corner. I didn't even touch my phone. I didn't want him to think I was trying to call or text anybody. I drove so fast to Speedway. When I got there, I hopped out the car and tried to hurry and walk in. He hops out the car and walks right behind me. I walk in, walk straight to the ATM. He's trailing right behind me. Then he passes by me at the ATM and now he's walking around the store. I had got the money out so quick and I rushed right back to my car. I'm sitting in my car watching him from inside of the store and he was walking around the store looking for me. Then he takes a look out to the car and I'm assuming he sees me in the car and that's when he begins to go pay for whatever he had picked up in the store. He comes out, gets in the car, and the moment he gets in the car, he asked if I had got the money. I said I did and he said give it to me. I'm giving him the money the same time as I'm pulling off from the gas station, and I literally flew back to the apartment so quick. I pull back in front of the apartment thinking that I'm about to drop him off. He tells me no, park your car. I parked my car, of course leaving it running. Now he says, nah, you about to come up here with me. You not leaving yet. I said, why can't I leave? I'm just ready to go. He says, ready to go where? Ready to go to who? I said, home. He says, nah, I don't know what you about to do or where you about to go. You need to stay here a little longer. He says again, I need to know that I can trust you. He says, you don't want me to cancel them payments, right? I said, no. He says, okay then, come up here with me. We go up to his apartment, and as we're sitting there, he's big chilling, eating his snacks that he just got from Speedway. He's all on YouTube, playing funny videos, laughing, all type of shit. I was literally just sitting there with a blank stare. All these thoughts was just going through my head, and now I'm starting to calculate everything up. From where I was just in a state of panic, I didn't even realize the calculations. I pull out my calculator. I'm adding together what he claimed he just paid, the credit card bill balance and my electric bill, the TV wall mount, the payments I had made to Best Buy, all of that. Even the $200 that I had just gave him that he had claimed I owed him. I didn't include the payment that was made for the Best Buy lease because that was a remaining balance that I hadn't even paid yet. I added up everything I spent, ATM trips, everything. That did not equate to me owing him any money. I literally had just gave him more money, giving him the $200 that he claimed I owed him. So now I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God. And he notices and he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why can't you just sit there and be cool? I said to him, I feel like you just played me. He said, played you? How did I play you? I said, I'm over here doing the calculations and something's not adding up. I said, I added together everything that I spent, and then I added together what you supposedly just paid me, and that doesn't equal up to me owing you that much money. The remainder of what I would owe you would be something around $40, and you just told me that I owed you $500 at first, and then $200. I said, you can't include the payment that was just made for the Best Buy lease because that's not included. That was a remaining balance that still needed to be paid, and that didn't come out of my pocket yet. So if you're trying to include that towards the total that was owed, then that's not right. Now he starts to say how I'm ungrateful and my math isn't right. He was like, what the fuck is $200 to me, you broke ass bitch? And he starts to pull the $100 out of his pocket that I had just got at the ATM, and he throws it in my face. When he threw the money, he said, here, this is what you want? And as the money was falling on me, I'm picking it up. And I'm like, yes, this is. Thank you. This man snatches the money that I had just picked up out of my hand. I had still had one or two $20 bills in my hand, and we were literally like tugging for it back and forth, and then he snatched it from me. When he snatched it back, I was like, oh my God, I thought you just said you wasn't pressed for $100. I said, you know what? I'm over this. I'm out of here. I tried to head towards the door and open the door. I didn't even realize that he had followed behind me and lunged after me. He grabbed my left arm so hard and slammed the door with his other hand. And as that was happening, he says, bitch, you're not going nowhere. He grabbed me so hard, I literally screamed. Now I'm pinned against the wall and he's telling me, bitch, shut up. He opened the door back up and looked both ways outside of the door. Mind you, he still had my left arm in his hand. I tried to pull away from him, but he slung me back towards the couch and was like, go sit down. I sat down and now here he comes standing over top of me. Like my knees were literally in between his legs. He starts to scream at me, where the fuck you think you going? You trying to go run and tell some shit? I say, no, I'm just trying to go home. He says, why couldn't you just sit there and be cool? A nigga just paid over $3,000 worth in bills and you sitting up here complaining? You sitting up here saying you don't owe me nothing when you technically do. You see what we sitting inside? You see this apartment we sitting inside? This is an investment. This is on Airbnb. I had to spend over $4K to get this apartment up and going. When you said you want to go into Airbnb together, I put this apartment on there. I said, yeah, we talked about going into Airbnb together, but you never once said you was putting this apartment on there. You told me you just moved in here. He like, it's cool. You saying I owe you $3K, but I had to spend $4K on this apartment. So it sounds like we a little even. I say, we don't have anything typed up in agreements that says I have any ties to this apartment. He says, it doesn't matter. This is what you wanted, ain't it? I did this for you. I said, that's nice and all, but I didn't ask you to do that, and you didn't tell me that you were doing that. Now he like, ooh, you making me want to smack you. I looked at him with the sternest look, and I said, you better not touch me again. He says, I don't even got to. I'm finna call the girl that's a couple doors down to come beat your ass. I was just like, what is wrong with you? I'm raising up off the couch trying to head towards the door again as I'm saying that. As he was saying that, I was halfway to the door. I opened the door, and as I'm walking out, he screams, if you leave, I'm canceling them payments, and I know where to find you. The door was literally shutting as he said that. So when it shut, I was just standing there like, what the fuck did he just say? He instantly texted me and was like, don't call this phone again. I had stood there for like 10 to 15 minutes. I was just in shock and I was just thoughts running. I didn't know what to do, what to think. Of course, I should have left, but I was just in shock at the moment. I knew he had my address. I thought he was in the gang. I'm thinking he's going to cancel the payments. I'm just really wanting my money back and I'm thinking about my safety. So I knocked on the door. He comes to the door and was like, what? And I was like, what did you just say before I had left out? And he was like, you heard me. I know where to find you if you play with me. You can't even just sit here and just be cool. He was like, I don't know why you think I'm lying to you about anything. I'm not. I said, okay. I'll be cool. I'll come in here and I'll be cool. As I'm walking back in, I'm saying again, I do not want any problems. Please do not cancel the payments. He tells me if I just be cool, everything's going to work out. I said, okay, I'll stay, but under one condition. I'm going in the bedroom. He was like, I don't give a fuck. I was already laying on the couch anyway. And as he was saying that, I had walked straight into the bedroom and shut the door. I had yelled out to him and asked if it was okay to take a shower, and he said that it was. I go and I start the shower water, but I don't get in. I was looking around because I wanted to know whose apartment was I actually in. But the thing was, that bitch was empty. It was literally just the bed only in the bedroom. By then, of course, I had to pee. I'd been there for a while, and he almost made me pee on myself when he grabbed me. So I went to use the bathroom, and as I'm using the bathroom, I had looked over, because of course everything's connected. I see the TV mount box underneath the bed. I finished up, turned the shower off, walked towards the bed. I had to check to make sure that it was really what it was. And it was. Then there just happens to be a paper right next to the box. I looked at the paper. The paper was a bank statement. As I'm sitting there looking at the paper, it had said his fake name at the top. And I was like, how did he open a bank account with his fake name? So then I'm looking at the transactions, and the first one I had seen was a payment made to a jewelry store. The next transaction that I had seen was a check that he had deposited. Then the next transaction that I had seen was him sending money back and forth to a female. When I checked the dates of the transactions, it just so happened to be the same day, June 28th, that he asked me to come down there, open the bank account, go to Atlanta with him, all that stuff. So now I'm like, this has to be the female who he was in Atlanta with. Mind y'all, that was a week and a half prior because now it was July 9th going into the night of the 10th. I sat there on the edge of the bed. I was just on my phone. It was late as hell, like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I'm going to wait a couple more hours and then I'm going to leave. 5:30 in the morning rolls around, and from where I had just been sitting there for all that time thinking and reflecting on everything that had happened, I was getting nauseous to my stomach and physically ill. I went in the bathroom and I got sick, and that's when I was like, it's really time for you to go home. I grabbed my stuff and tried to just sneak out. As I was pulling open the bedroom door, I'm literally slightly pulling the knob, trying to open it to make as less noise as possible, but it was stuck, so I had to pull it just a little bit, and when I did, it made a noise. Of course, that woke him up, and he turned and asked, where was I going? I said, I keep getting sick, so I'm leaving to go take care of myself. And he says, no, don't leave yet. If you stay, I gotta wait for us to make some money today. You trying to make 8K? I said, I'm really cool on all that. I'm just ready to go. And he says, fine, you can go. And I instantly left. I couldn't even drive from how physically ill I was. I literally had to drive to the nearest hotel, use their bathroom, then I took a little nap just to get back refreshed. When I got home, I slept that entire day. I had no energy to do anything. That next day, I had plans with my sister for her birthday that I couldn't miss, so I had to get out the bed and get myself going. I was so disgusted and disappointed with myself, I didn't even look myself in the mirror. I make it to my sister's house, and as we're getting ready, she notices something on my arm. Of course, she immediately asked me what the fuck happened to me and if I was okay. I said, don't worry about that right now. It's your birthday. It's time to celebrate you. We'll worry about that and talk about that another time. She told me that she didn't care, but I insisted that we focused on her birthday. We had already had 4 days of plans, and I just wasn't trying to ruin it. That first night we went out, I ended up not even having to pull my wallet out. Everything was cool. The next day that we went out, I used my credit card for everything. The day after that, when we went out, I went to go pay for $7 parking. My card declines. I check my bank account and I see this. When I saw that, I knew then that I was not tripping when I thought I had seen him put the passcode into my phone. This man must have watched me. I don't know when, but he watched me put the passcode into my phone and he remembered it. I have my phone set up to where I have to use my Face ID to make payments. So he bypassed the Face ID and used my passcode to my phone. I physically got sick. Now I'm like, check the credit card banking app. I see this. I didn't even check my electric bill account because I already knew. Bounced back. I had the biggest mental breakdown that I've ever had in my life. It was already late at night, so that morning when I got up and I tried to call him, I was blocked. So I get on my text-free app, and this is what I texted him. I waited all day, never got a response from him. I finished the weekend with my sister's birthday activities, and that following Monday morning, I went to the police station. I filed a police report, and they told me that a detective would be reaching out to me in a couple days. They also recommended me to go to the hospital right when I left from there, and I did. A couple days went by, and the detective did call. We scheduled a time to meet up and talk that following week, and he had said if I hadn't washed the clothes yet, that I should bring them so he could send them off to be tested. I waited patiently for the day to come to go speak with him, and when it did, I tell him everything that happened and showed him everything that I had, and he says that it's basically still my story versus his. He said that still an investigation would be conducted and that my clothes would still be sent off to get tested. He said that he would reach back with me and stay in touch and keep me updated on everything. The next week after speaking with him, he calls me and he says, "Oh, I spoke with Mr. Million and I can assure you that he's not in this area anymore." And I said, "What's that supposed to mean?" He said basically that he asked if he was still in the area. He said that he wasn't and that he basically told him to not come around in the area anymore. I say, "Is that it? Is that the end of the investigation? What about my clothes getting tested?" And he says that it could take from 3 days to 3 weeks to 3 years for clothes to get tested. So after my clothes got tested, then that's when they can determine the end of the investigation. He's like, "Of course, though, in the midst of all that, if you have any questions, then just feel free to call me." And when we got off the phone, I was just so irritated. A week had went by, and one morning when I had woke up, I had just felt so uneasy and like he had just needed to be accountable for what he did. I got on Google, I Googled his name again, and when I seen any name and any number that was associated to and with him, I called it. It was a list of different names and different people, but they all had the same last name. So, of course, I'm thinking that they're all relatives. So I'm calling this number, that number, this number, that number. Then I finally get a number that I had called. Somebody picked up. When she answered the phone, I was like, "Hello, is this so-and-so? And are you related to Mr. Million?" And she was like, "Yes, this is her, and that's my grandson. What has he done? What did he do?" And I said, "Well, he told me that his name was this and that basically he owes me money." She was like, "Oh, Lord, oh my goodness. I knew something was going on with him. I didn't have a good feeling when he came over here the other day. Da-da-da this, da-da-da that." She had kept saying how she didn't have a good feeling about something that was going on with him. I had told her about all the money that I had spent, including the food, feeding him. And she said when he came over there, he had asked her to buy him some food as well. But she told him that she didn't have it. And I said to her, I wish I would have told him the same. I was asking if his behavior was normal, if he always goes through that with females. Is that who he really is? And she was saying how he had struggled with females in the past, but she was saying how he just wasn't that type of guy, and she basically raised him better than that. I asked her about this mysterious BMW truck. She said that he didn't have that. Asked her about all this money that he supposedly should have. She said that he didn't have that. She was saying how she didn't have any money to give me, but how she was for sure going to ask and tell him to pay me back. Before I could even get halfway through with telling her everything, she stopped me and was like, "Oh my Lord, I just feel so sorry for you. I feel so bad for you. Can we please pray? I'm so sorry this happened to you. I cannot believe him. He knows better. I raised him better than that." She goes into prayer. I'm crying, been crying. She's praying. She finishes, and when she does, she's telling me how everything's going to be okay. I said, well, I wasn't in any trouble with him, and I feel like this entire situation is insane because of how good of a person I was and that I did not deserve to be treated like that. And she agreed, saying to me how she's done some of the same things that I've done before and that she's had her fair share of struggles with men in the past, but after so many, she said she changed her life around. After going back and forth, she was telling me how she couldn't talk much longer because she was on her way to church and it just happened to be Sunday. And she was saying how she was going to reach out to him, talk to him, tell him to pay me back, and that she would be reaching back out to me. She said she was going to call me back later on that night, but she never did. I waited to hear back from her, and after 2 days, I texted her. I sent her screenshots of the messages of him saying that he was going to pay me back. I told her what was going on again. I said to her that even if he doesn't have the money to pay me back, that he could just give me some of the items back. Like, I'm just trying to work everything out just so that I can still try to get some of my money back. Said to her, I'm sorry and I wasn't trying to bother, but if she could just try to help me if she could with him, because if she had raised him, then I figured that she was somebody that could try to get to him and get him to understand that what he did wasn't right and he should do the right thing. I'm telling her that I have rent to pay, that I'm really in need of this money, the situation's forever going to haunt me, that I'm mentally not okay. She never responded. I had found it so odd because she was just on the phone sympathizing with me and praying for me, but now she's not responding to me. Now I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, and I'm like, she's going to respond to me eventually. I'm just going to wait. She had never responded to me, and that next morning when I woke up, I was just in my head and in my thoughts. So I went and made a fake page. No, it was not the right thing to do, but I did it. I made the page on Instagram, and when I tried to search him, I couldn't find him. I had forgot that he had blocked me on my main account and that Instagram now has the option to where if someone blocks you, they block all the future accounts that you make as well. I remember that I still had the screen recording from his story showing someone tagging him in a song that they had did on Apple Music. So I went to that person's page and I started commenting on his pictures. I was commenting how he owes people money and how he's done created a debt and try to run off on me, how he's targeting certain type of women. I was just making all different types of comments. I didn't know whether or not if they were artists together, if that was his managers or whatever, whoever. I was just saying, tell your artist to pay up his debts. I also said, if you're a single mother or someone with kids, to stay away from him and be aware of him. After an hour or so, dude DMs me and he's like, what's going on? What's these comments about? And so I gave him a brief rundown of what had happened. And he was saying to me how he was going to try to help me get my money back and to send him my number. I sent him the text free app number that I had, and he tried to call me, but I didn't answer because I was with family. And so I text him and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, who are you and when did this happen? And then he's like, Mr. Million wants to speak with you. And I said to him, I don't want to speak with him unless he's only talking about paying me back. I've already been too nice, and all I have to talk about now is getting my money back. We went back and forth, and then the friend was basically saying that Mr. Million was confused on who I even was. He's asking if I had gave him cash or did I send him a cash app. And I'm thinking in my head, like, he must be thinking that I'm one of these clients out here that Mr. Million got, that he's out here helping half off bills or get approval, whatever he's out here doing. And so I text him and I said, I'm not texting about this. We can talk over the phone. I said, he's fucked over so many people. That's the reason why he doesn't know who it is. Now he's asking me to send a picture of myself, and I'm telling him I'm not doing that, and that's sad as fuck, and that should tell you how many females that he's getting over on. I was saying it's not funny because he's out here fucking with people's livelihood, and that shit's not cool. And I said I'm not trying to talk about nothing else unless it's about getting my money back. All that extra shit is a wrap. Now he's saying, I don't know how I can get you your money back if I don't know who you are, and he doesn't know who you are. I said, do you think this man is honestly going to tell you the truth? And he said, yes, I knew him for years. And I'm like, well, you're sadly mistaken because he's not, but we're going to talk. And he's like, okay, we're going to talk. Like an hour and a half goes by and my sister calls me because one of her friends called her and sent her a screenshot of Mr. Million writing her looking for information on me. She was saying how she had wrote me as well, but I wasn't responding to her, so that's the only reason why she had reached out to my sister. This is what he said to her. I texted his friend and I was like, why is he writing people asking for information on me and lying on me? And that he knew who you was asking about all along. He knows who I am. I asked what was the point of him writing people asking for information on me when all he had to do was pay his debts. The friend responded he didn't know who I was because I was writing from a fake page. I said, regardless of me writing from a fake page, he knew the situation. Now he's writing people. He definitely knows who I am. I said I didn't write anyone saying anything but for him to pay me back. He said that he would call him later when he wasn't busy, and I said to him, me and him could still speak over the phone, but I just wanted to make sure that it was genuine with what he was doing, helping me with him. I sent him screenshots of Mr. Million saying that he was going to pay me back, the ones that I've already showed. And I said he wants to lie and say that I broke into his apartment, but that's far from the truth. We can really talk about what happened. A couple hours later, he ended up calling me and I told him everything. I sent him the screenshots, I sent him the receipts, and he said that that nigga was wild and that he was going to talk to him and tell him to give me my money back. That next day, when the friend reached out to me, he was saying how when he spoke with him, he told him how everything that I did for him was a gift for his birthday. I said to him, you see how I sent you and showed you everything, all the receipts, and he still continues to lie. I continued to show him and send him more receipts, and the friend really believed me, and he said that he just couldn't believe that dude was out here acting like that and that he should be a man of his word and really do what he said he was going to do. We went back and forth and got off the phone. A couple hours later, I get a text message. Well, a couple text messages from Mr. Million. Oh, now my number's unblocked. This is what he says. I didn't even reply back to him. I just sent it to his friend and I said, oh, so now he's sending me threats, but yeah, he owes me. And the friend responded and said that he was about to call him and say something to him. The friend calls me and says that he said something to him about the threats, and he said that the only reason why he threatened me was because I called his grandma. I was like, are you kidding me? The grandma literally said that she was going to talk to him and tell him what he did was not right and that he should pay me back. Now he says, nah, the grandma don't believe you no more. She believes him. I was like, what? He like, you know that's her grandson. That's her baby. She has to believe him. I was like, she was just praying for me over the phone, but now she believes anything he says. And the friend said that he told her the same story, that everything that I had got him was just a gift. Then he was telling me how Mr. Million said that his profile on the Facebook dating app was a fake profile. He even said that people had been asking him if that was really him on there, and he was telling them that it wasn't. I said again, here we go with the lies. How did I get this man's phone number? Sent him the screenshot of the phone number. He's like, yeah, that's his number. I'm like, yeah. How did I get this? How did I get that? I mean, it just all makes sense. I asked him if I should be taking the threats that he made serious or lightly and if he was really a crip or not. The friend literally laughed it off and he was like, man, he is not like that. He told me that when he met Mr. Million, he was actually saving him from getting his car flipped by a group of people. Now, I don't know how true the story was or if he was just BSing me, but that's what he said. He said they were at a party, Mr. Million had exchanged words with people, and then next thing you know, his car was surrounded and it was being shook. So he said that he came to his defense and told them to leave him alone, and that's basically how they met and became friends. So then I asked him, did Mr. Million ever really get shot before? And he said that he actually did. I asked him where at, and he said the bottom of his back, but basically his butt. He said it was just like a similar situation to when they had met and that he had to help him and come to his rescue. He says Mr. Million gets into it with a couple of guys, calls him up, then he sends his friends to go help him, and then it ended up being a pew out, and as Mr. Million was running away, he had got hit. Then he was telling me how he had put one of his friends onto him to help him get approved for an apartment, and basically Mr. Million ran off with his money too. The excuse for that was that they exchanged words, and he told him that he just wasn't getting his money back. The friend's exact words that he kept saying about him was he was bad for business. He said that there should be a series created that's called Surviving Mr. Million. He had joked about it, but then he was like, on a serious note and from a man's perspective, that what he did was really lame. I asked him, I was like, did he tell you what he was doing when he had my phone and he was fake paying for some shit? And he said that he told him out of his mouth that he used a bank account with no money in it to pay, fake pay, for the electric bill and my credit card bill. And that when he went to pay for the Progressive lease, the Best Buy lease bill, that basically he used my account, but he said, but nah, bruh, that was her credit. Like they thought he used my credit card. I told him he was sadly mistaken. That was not my credit card. It was my debit card that came out of my checking account. I asked him again if he really had said that to him, and he said that he did. I was like, that was the boldest shit that he could have done. We had went back and forth, talked about some more stuff, eventually got off the phone. That next morning he texts me, checks on me, and I'm thinking he's trying to be cool because he feels sorry for what had happened to me, like he said to me. I was telling him how I was having the thought of just replying to Mr. Million and telling him to really fuck off with himself, and he was telling me how basically it just wasn't worth it. Out of the blue, he calls me and he says that he has spoke with Mr. Million and that he has sent him the explicit video that I did not consent to of myself showing him who I was. I was like, what the fuck? Who does shit like that? That is the weirdest shit that he could have done. He was saying that he didn't even realize what it was until he started watching it and that he had instantly deleted it. We had went back and forth, eventually got off the phone, and when we did, I texted and I asked if he could send me that video of myself. He was like, you remember I said I deleted it, but I'll try to get him to send it again. Then I had asked if he could try to recover it from his deleted camera roll, but he said that he couldn't. Later on that day, I texted the friend again, asked him what he was doing. He responded. Then I asked if he was ever able to get the video of me, but he never responded to that. That morning when I had woke up, I had so many thoughts going through my head, and I was so mad at the fact that this man had sent this video to his friend of me. So I replied back to him. This is what was said, and it was like he was waiting right by his phone for me to text him, and I was unblocked. He texted me right back. The messages continued. In the midst of us texting, the friend texts me and says, oh, now he's on the phone and he want to talk to you. I said, let's talk about it. He's been running. The friend calls me and he's like, hold on, I'm about to three-way him. Then when he gets back on the line, he talking about, oh, he hung the phone up. I said, exactly. He can't talk about it. He don't want to face me. He only wants to talk to me through a text message. I was telling the friend what he was saying to me in the text messages and what I had said to him. And I was asking, like, everything that you said to me, was that a lie? Are you telling the truth? Are y'all both playing on my phone? Like, what's going on? He was saying how everything he said wasn't a lie and how he wouldn't lie on a grown man. And he was just trying to be the middleman and really just help me out. I asked, so why is he saying that you sitting up laughing at me? Are you laughing at me? Like, what are you saying behind my back? And the friend was saying everything that he said to me in those messages, he was just trolling me. I told the friend, look, I don't know what to believe, and I know you cool with him, gonna stay cool with him, whatever you're gonna do, but I just feel like we don't need to be talking anymore. And I hung the phone up. After I had did that, the friend texted me, trying to be cool, and then he was saying, oh, now he has to pick a side. I just didn't even respond to him. A week had went by, and then the friend calls me on a random day, and I had just got my wisdom teeth pulled, so I didn't answer, and I was like, I can't talk right now, what's up? And he was saying to call him right quick, so I did because I didn't know what he wanted. When I called, he didn't want anything. When we first talked, I was telling him about how I felt like I noticed Mr. Million was walking like with a little limp, like a little dip in his walk. And I asked if that was from when he got shot or is that just how Crips walk? Like, I didn't know if that's how he really walked. The friend was saying he could have been walking like that from where he had been shot, but then he was joking about me saying, like, is that how Crips walk? So we on the phone and he like, hey, I'm just trying to show my peoples real quick how you said Mr. Million walked. He was like, show me real quick how he did it. At that point in time, I was still really fragile about talking about the situation, so I wasn't in the mood for all of that. So I told him, I'll call you back, and I hung up. For the next couple of weeks, the friend had texted me asking me, hey, how are you doing? Hey, how are you feeling? And one day I was just like, if you can talk later, then we can talk. That's if you haven't been talking to him. And he said that he hadn't been talking to him. When we had got on the phone, I was asking the friend if he had knew Mr. Million's address, but I didn't tell him that I was trying to get the address so that I could try to take him to court. He was saying that he didn't know and that basically he'd be moving around a lot. So now I'm asking, did you know he had a girlfriend? The last time y'all talked, when y'all talked, what did y'all talk about? What did he say? He says, well, I didn't ask him about the sexual part, but I did ask him why he wanted all that stuff and why he asked you for money, why he made you do the things that you did. Mr. Million tells him everything that I got, the money out the ATM, basically everything was for his girl. When the friend told me that, my mouth just dropped and I was like, wow. This man had to make up a wild, fake story, force me to do stuff, all type of stuff, mentally fuck me, just for that. So I was like, okay, that's noted. By that time, my best friend had knew everything going on, everything that had happened. I had to break down and tell her because she was on the phone with me when I went to pay for the $7 parking and my card had declined. Of course, she supported me regardless of me not telling her. So with her knowing everything going on, and of course I'm blocked so I can't see anything that he's posting, she was periodically going to his Instagram page. So when she was on there, she's like, I looked at his bio and I see an Airbnb link in the bio. So I clicked on it and I looked at the apartment and it sounds like what you had described to me. So she sends me the link. I click on the link. Sure enough, it was the apartment. I'm like, this man said he has 19 Airbnb properties. He's been doing Airbnb for however long. But it says you're a new host on there. He had said he had literally only been a new host for a month, so he had just put that apartment on there. As I was looking at the listing, the pictures, I just see half of the Walmart receipt. And then I'm like, he took these pictures with the camera. So I'm telling my best friend, well, since we doing our detective work, let's look up the girlfriend. I was like, if she got my shit and if everything was for her, then I should ask her, let's go to the source. So we searched every social media with this girl's name. I had wrote a couple people that I had suspicions of and that I thought, and I just waited for a response. When I was writing the different women, I was just saying, hey, do you talk to this guy? And if you do, would you mind speaking with me? And if not, then that's totally fine. Not trying to start any trouble. I don't want any problems. It was only between 3 to 4 women. It wasn't like it was a list of different women I was writing. I woke up that next morning. I see I got a response from somebody. I clicked on it. The message said, yes, I do talk to him. What's up? I was like, bingo. I asked her if she was his girlfriend. She said yes. I said, listen, I'm not trying to come to you on no woman to woman, no none of that. I'm just trying to tell you what he's done to me. She sent me her phone number and I called her. The first thing she had asked me was, how did I find her? And I didn't want to tell her that I had seen her name on his bank statement that I had found in the apartment. I told her I figured he would be messing with someone in that area, so I started searching up females with the same area on Instagram. Told her that we had mutual followers on Instagram. I was just on her page and I was looking at her little story bubbles, and she just happened to have one for Puerto Rico. So I clicked on it and I was watching it and I thought I heard a familiar voice, so I figured I'd write you and ask. She said that they did go to Puerto Rico together, and this was literally weeks before I met this man on the Facebook dating app. I told her he did tell me that he had just recently visited Puerto Rico, but he didn't tell me that he was with anyone. Then I just basically told her everything that happened, every little detail. I sent her the screenshots, I sent her the receipts. We talked about everything. Then we started matching dates up. The first time that I had met up with him, they just happened to not be together that day. I told her the name of the apartment where we had met up at, and she said that that was his apartment and that they were staying there together, but she said only occasionally because he was renting it out on Airbnb. So when he wasn't renting it out on Airbnb, they were staying at her mom's house. I had told her about how he had told me how he had just moved down here from LA and all that, and she had said he told her the same thing. I had asked her where they had even met at, and she said that he had wrote her on Instagram. I showed her the messages about how he said he had a girlfriend the entire time, and that's why he had me sitting outside, and the video of him kicked up in the bed with his feet crossed playing music. So I asked, was that at your mom's house where he had sent the video of him laying in the bed kicked up chilling? And she was like, no, that was a new apartment that he had to get because he got kicked out of the apartment that I had first met him at. Said that apartment wasn't even in his name. It was in one of his friends' names, and that the property management at the apartment complex had found out that he was basically doing Airbnb and they didn't allow that. Said that there had been a notice given to vacate, and he did. They were moving things out of the apartment and they had the furniture sitting on the curb. She said they turned around for 2 seconds, Rent-A-Center swooped up and picked that shit up so motherfucking quick. There wasn't even no words to be said or arguments made. They got their furniture and left. He tried to get approved at another apartment across the street, got denied. Oh, and the apartment complex that he was just at and had to vacate from, they called up Airbnb and let them know that he was violating guidelines and policies. So she said that Airbnb shut his account down too. Now, I might have had a little something to do with that as well because I called Airbnb and reported his ass too. Then she said that a detective did call him and told him that they knew what he was doing in the area and basically gave him a warning to watch his actions. And then she related it back to the apartment complex denying him approval because she said that she thinks that the detective has called around to all the apartments in the area and was letting them know about this little approval thing that he does with apartments and letting them know that he's basically a scam and don't approve him. Said that he had tried all the apartments in the surrounding areas after that, but none of them approved him. So then that's when they had to go over the bridge and get an apartment further out. And that's the apartment that he's at in the video that he sent me of himself in the bed, kicked up with his feet crossed. The furniture that was in the new apartment was from Rent-A-Center too. Said he asked her the same thing that he asked me, to open up an Airbnb account and to put this new apartment on her account since he had just got his banned, but she said it never ended up happening. And this apartment wasn't even in his name, just like the last, and it was in a different friend's name. I asked, well, are y'all still at this same apartment? And she said no. He had to vacate from that one too. Was barely there for even a month and a half. Said that they had gotten into a really bad argument, which led to a physical altercation because he likes to put his hands on women, which led to the police being called, which led to the property management finding out and giving a notice to vacate. Which was this notice that I've already posted before due to his lies trying to say that I was the reason why he had got kicked out of his apartment. Far from the truth. So now I'm asking about the stuff from Walmart, Best Buy, the money that I had got out the ATM, if he had gave her that. She said that after that altercation and him getting kicked out again, that they did continue talking and he was actually staying with her at her mama's house because he had nowhere else to go. She said that he did have family in Columbus and was from there and that she took him up there a couple times and there was no house there either. He was staying there with his daddy. I told her about how I had called his grandma and that how he tried to say in the messages that that wasn't even his grandma and that his real grandma was dead. And then that's when she told me that that's not his blood family and that he was adopted. When she went up to meet his family, they was calling him by a different name and she was confused, and then that's when she found out that the name that he was going by was not even his real name. And said that his family does not call him by this name that he is out here going by, trying to say that that's his real name. She said that after he had to vacate the first apartment, the one that I had met him at, that basically he told her she could have the TV and the carpet for her shop because she does lashes. Said she had just mounted the TV days before and she already had the carpet down. She had only had the carpet, the TV, and the wall mount in her possession. She said that I could come get it if I wanted to do so because she felt like the whole situation was just out of hand at that point and she just couldn't believe him, what he had done, him lying, just everything. She was like, why would I want to keep and have some shit that was bought from another female with my boyfriend that he said that he was going to pay her back for, and he lied to me about it? Said the only reason why she had even had the stuff in her shop was because he didn't have nowhere else to put the stuff from where he had got kicked out both apartments. Said how was he going to try to give her some shit that he didn't even pay for in the first place, and again, lied about it. I had sent her the Walmart receipt, so she had seen the drill on there that he had specifically got to put the TV wall mount up, and she said that I could have had that back to try to take back to get my money back, but when they had rented out the Airbnb to a family, that's when the property management had found out, and when they tried to go knock on the door, the family was inside of there from where they was renting the Airbnb, of course had to leave, and she said when they left, they took the drill with them. Now I'm asking about the stuff from Best Buy. Camera, vlog equipment, backpack, phone case, all of that. I had even asked was she at the apartment when we had went to Best Buy and got all that stuff. She said she was. She said that she was even there the night before when he had came inside the apartment with the TV. I had told her how I had came over there early morning and I was knocking on the door, but she said that she didn't hear it. She just remembers that he had left out for the day. I asked her if he didn't have a car, then how did you think that he was getting around? And she said that she thought he was Ubering or Lyfting. She said that she had left out for the day and then came back to the apartment, and she said that everything that was bought, he had surrounded around him like presents, like it was Christmas. And she said he was playing with every single little thing. She said that he had looked like a little kid that had never got shit before. And she had asked this man, where did he get all this stuff from? And he had told her that he had just went shopping that day. She said that before he had got all that stuff, there was nothing in that apartment but the 2 couches in the living room and the bed in the bedroom that didn't even have sheets, a cover, or a pillowcase. In which I do remember when I had first met him and went inside the apartment, it was literally only those 2 couches in the living room. Mind you, I was under the impression from what he had told me about him just moving down here, just moving into the apartment. So I just figured that it wasn't fully furnished yet. I sent her the picture that was taken of me without my consent that he sent to me when he was trying to blackmail me. And she said, oh yeah, I know that's him because I got them drawers sitting right here in his clothes hamper that he left at my mom's house. Then I started talking about the day that he made me go open up the bank account and how he asked me to go to Atlanta with him. She said she was the one that was in Atlanta with him and that they drove her car down there. I told her about how he had FaceTimed me right after I left him that day, showing me that big stack of money, and that he was inside of a car. And so I'm asking, is that the Benz truck that he was getting wrapped matte black? And she said, no, ma'am, that was my car that he was in. I said, so the keys that was hanging from his belt loop that day, they were yours? And she said, yes, ma'am. I've shown this previously, but this is the video that he tried to post flexing the money and try to make it seem like that I was with him that day while he had this money, but I wasn't. This is him in her car, in her purse. I said, so because I told him no to going to Atlanta and getting a rental, he decides to ask you. And she said, I'm assuming so because before then he hadn't asked her. It was off the whim. She had sent him money that day for whatever reason, and that's the transaction that I had seen on the bank statement, which led to me finding her. Now she's telling me how the entire time that they were in Atlanta, he was using the camera for everything. Made a music video, promo, taking pictures. She said I even had the camera in my hand taking pictures and videos of him. He's telling her she can even use the camera for a podcast that she wanted to start doing. I sent her each item from Best Buy, and she said that everything was still in his possession. Phone case still on his phone, backpack still on his back. She said he didn't leave nowhere without that. I had asked her if she could try to get the stuff back from him that was from Best Buy, and she said that he had already left the state. Said he was staying with her at her mom's house and then occasionally staying with his dad in Columbus, but he moves around, so now he's done ended up at his auntie's house in a different state. She said that she had his location and she could see that he was just basically staying at hotels, and then when he wasn't at a hotel, he was at his auntie's house. I said, so what about all these supposed properties that he has in each state? She said that she's never heard nothing about that and hasn't seen one property. Then she starts telling me how she thinks he's out there in the other state with another female. I said, well, I'm sure he's met her on the Facebook dating app. Of course, we went back and forth and we talked about a bunch of stuff. She said that he told her that he was out there making a music video. I said, for who? QC? I told her that I was being funny, but I was like, wasn't he supposedly signed to QC? And I was like, I'm in contact with one of his friends because I was writing him trying to get my money back as well. And he's the one that actually told me that Mr. Million was signed to QC, Quality Control Records, and that he had got the $800,000 advance, that was all facts. She said she never heard nothing about that either. said that the real story behind that, of him even trying to associate himself with QC, was because he had a friend that used to actually be signed to QC. So I guess he's just living through him. I asked her, "Have you ever really seen any real money from him or on him?" She said that basically throughout the relationship, some stuff that he paid for, some stuff he didn't. She said, but he always asked of her. If it wasn't doing something for him, then it was sending or asking for money. When he asks for shit, sometimes she says yes, sometimes she says no. So she thinks that's what caused him to go and ask other people. Said that he mainly got on her for not doing enough for him. She had kept saying how she felt bad for me and she knew he had took advantage of me because he was asking of things that he basically wanted from her. She didn't doubt one thing that I said to her because she herself experienced the same things with him. She said another female had reached out to her previously while she was talking to him, saying the same thing, that he owed her money. But she said that she was coming at her crazy, so that's why she didn't respond to her like she did to me. After going back and forth, we both came up with the idea that if I can't get any of my money back and he still has this camera in his possession and it's the most expensive thing that he has, it was $1,500 camera, that we're going to try to get the camera back. She had said that he had knew about her wanting to start a podcast and that he actually offered to her to use the camera for her podcast. She said that she was just going to play it cool with him and ask him to come back to her once he got done doing whatever he was doing there and to bring the camera so that she could do her first podcast. She knew that he would go for that and believed that, and he did. He was already coming back to her because her birthday was coming up, but she was telling him to come back sooner. She said that she was going to tell him that they were going to do the podcast at her suite where she does lashes and that I could just pop in and try to get the camera there. But then she said that we should do it in a public place. So she was like, I'm going to make a reservation at a restaurant. She was going to do the reservation at a restaurant with an outside patio so that way when they got there that I could just be waiting on the street somewhere and that she could ask him to go buy a drink at the bar, if he goes to the bathroom, whatever. When he's out of sight, I could just basically walk up on the patio and she handed me the camera. I patiently waited for the day for me to go down there and get that stuff. And I was going to bring people with me. A week and a half goes by maybe, and me and the girlfriend, we're texting and we stay in contact every day. And one day she just tells me she can't take it anymore. She tried to be cool. She's trying to stay cool, but she's just really disgusted with him. And she was like, I just cannot play fake. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm over him. I said something to him. She said that she asked him about me, asked him about the money, asked about everything. And he lied, of course. She said once he started lying, saying he didn't know you, calling you police, all these different things, I started to record him. Somebody I don't know want to say something about my gay though. The fuck out here. Is who? What the fuck, dude? Let me the girl who reached out to me. She a CI. And that's what you said. How get that information? They need to ask yourself for you. Make me so what you want to with anything, first and everything. If you trying to break up with a nigga over some shit, how did somebody, what you mean? I don't have to spend all the money on your fucking birthday, nigga, over somebody else dead. I don't want to find a reason to say fuck with you. Anything that's happening. Hey, I do it all over your birthday. Like, come on, man. She's a stranger. A stranger? She's a stranger. Yes. You don't, man, because you don't want to hear the truth. You just, I don't want to hear the truth. Bro, it's the fact that she literally has all the proof, all the receipts, and you still lying. I'm in a penthouse in Houston. I've been in Texas for 2-3 weeks straight in a hotel in penthouses. Sweet, man. All on my story and everything. Okay. Hello. Okay. Okay. It's great for nothing. Okay. This is a story, bro. Nigga ain't got no peace, bro. Okay. I ain't even got no money, bro. Okay. Okay. Nothing. Okay. Nigga, for this only time I was supposed to be like, you know what? Okay. See what you pay for it. Out of here. You ain't got no cheese. Them niggas ain't got no cheese, gang. You laughing. You know, I'm sorry. You talking about, laying in my face, bro. You watching in the job the water, nigga.
Yeah, but I didn't want you to get nothing out the mud. I just didn't want to. I'm still, oh, nigga. I got real businesses. Niggas ain't got shit. Niggas is poor. Niggas is broke. Niggas be hating on me on my dick. Niggas ain't got justice. Niggas ain't got shit. Okay. Niggas, these bitches torn, like their fuck. Still on fuck. Watch this bullshit. Niggas got shit. Okay. I'm not here. What's the million real? 18 real? Get the fuck here, man. You can't say shit. Just don't make you watch me. Okay. Okay. How you bugging, nigga? And then work, and then come straight to you. Well, my cash out, my bank, all my address, my face, they are cheap right now to this day. Okay? If you doing this much investigation and you found out where I was on the Airbnb, got snapped down, and we in communication and this and that, how come you ain't know I was at this street? My grandmother's grave, I seen you the screenshot. Yes, nigga, I know 4 million records by myself. Okay. 4 million more. Okay. Okay. I was trying to QC till Marlo died. Then they come around and bring me back as a manager for community. Listen. Listen. I meditate. Facebook did. He came. I did. And spent money on thousands. At the end of the day, I won. I'm winning. That's me winning. That's not even nothing. I have ever did some girls and shit. Does it matter? Why would I? Why would I? Why would I? Because she ain't the first bitch to be coming at me on some, oh, he owe me money, da da da. All this other shit. You forgot? You forgot? You forgot? You forgot? You forgot? You forgot? You call me a bitch? You don't call me a bitch? I did. That's pissing me off. How you look out for me? If you looking out for me, you would have bought dope. You would have bought some business. You would have bought some. What I'm gonna do with a camera in the middle of some hour shoot music videos. Okay. I got 2 videos. Okay. She told me. And you know, prison gang, I'm already getting put out of JRC. If a bitch gonna spend 4 or 5 days, spend 4 or 5 days on my next screen. Why would I have to spend 4 or 5 days on a camera? I'm about to get put out for Airbnb. That don't even make sense. Okay. I'm not no dumbass nigga. Okay. I'm like to the press. You press me. Go to the press. You press over your shit for me. Watch me do this shit. You press me. Okay. You press me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go rent my life on motherfucking shit. I'm gonna get put out of crib and tell them where to go. I'm gonna go buy a fucking camera and not do nothing with it. Oh, but I don't even make sense. You know, when you bought something from me, okay, or your shit right back. Literally, not immediately. Not immediately. Don't start purping. Don't start purping. Nigga, don't start purping.
While they were on the phone, he also made threats against me, my family, anyone who associates themselves with me, even his own friend that was talking to me as well. He said that he was about to start putting cheese on people's heads. So when I heard him say that, my nice Nancy self, I text a friend and I say, look, don't associate yourself with him. Don't talk to him no more. He's making threats against me and also you for even talking to me. The friend replied and said Mr. Million woke him out of his sleep around 3 o'clock in the morning, calling him, and he asked, what did I say to him? I told him that I would call him and tell him and that I had just found out about the threats being made. And he said, yeah, he's upset with me for talking to you. And I just found out where he stays at now. He's moving to Detroit in a couple weeks and he's not moving too far away from me. And I know where it's at because he showed me on FaceTime. Now, I haven't said every little detail, but when I was on the phone with a friend, he was telling me about how he was from Detroit and that he felt like when Mr. Million asked me to drive to Detroit, that basically he was just coming to see him. He said that around that time, Mr. Million was telling him that he was going to come up there and visit soon. I replied and told him, we're just going to talk over the phone. I was still talking to, at the time, the now ex-girlfriend, and I had told her that the friend had just told me about Mr. Million calling him in the middle of the night, and she tells me Mr. Million done called her sister in the middle of the night as well, demanding for his money back that he had just spent for her birthday. Whole time she was telling me that, I was just like, wow, this man really crashing now that the shoe is on the other foot. She was then telling me that another reason why she couldn't wait and had to go on and say something to him was because she had basically seen him with another female on his social media. Of course, being his girlfriend at the time, she has a girl already coming to her telling her that he owes her money, and then she sees him with another female. She just had to say something. Then she's like, well, I know what he's capable of. I know how he is. He could possibly pop up on me. I don't know. So I suggest that if you want this TV, the wall mount, and the rug, that you should just go on and come get it now. I told her that I could come pick the stuff up the next day, and she was like, cool. Not too much longer after that, the friend had called me asking about what Mr. Million had said about him. I told him that I was in contact with the girlfriend and that she was going to come let me get my stuff. He was telling me about how when he had spoke to Mr. Million, he was telling him that he was in Michigan and about this new spot that he had got. I told him that's all false. The girlfriend got his location and he's not in Michigan. And I said he's not staying at no properties. He don't got no new spot. He's staying at hotels, suites, and penthouses like he said. Now he like, so he just lying about everything. And I said, you're just now realizing that? We had went back and forth and then we eventually got off the phone. The friend texted me out the blue and was like, I want his drop. And I sent back laughing emojis and was like, wish I had it. Then he was like, I'm about to put a bitch on him. I'm like, shit, he gonna bite on that for sure. These specific messages that I'm talking about right now are the messages that Mr. Million tried to post, trying to make it seem as though I was trying to set him up. When all in all, he was just telling his friend what to say to me. But I'm going to get to that. I said that nigga's a snake with so many faces. Why you think he called you in the middle of the night? He was trying to see what you knew. He said he's dumb as fuck and he moves wrong. I said, literally. And he's fucking with the wrong people. He's really trying to carry out this lie to the grave and he's really going through the most. He said, I'm going to tap in with my cousins in Atlanta because I know he goes there and I can't put a female on him here in Michigan because he's stupid, but he's not that stupid. I said, I'm sure you'll think of a master plan and he thinks you stupid for real, but he can't play in everybody's face. I said, I just wanted to let you know beforehand before he tried to do some silly shit and blindside you. An hour later, the now ex-girlfriend calls me and she's like, I don't know what he's on, but he's bugging out and he's threatening me. And I would just feel better if you go on and come get the stuff today. She said she even had to change her number. I'm like, what the fuck? But I didn't hesitate. I jumped right up and got right on the road and was heading on my way. As I'm on my way to her, I get a text message. And after I got this, I instantly called the now ex-girlfriend and asked, what is going on? She said, I don't know what's going on, but the friends done texted and called me, and then he said that you gave him my number. As they were talking on the phone, he's basically just trying to turn us against each other. Said she didn't really give him the time of day, hung up on him. I said, well, I didn't give him your number, and she said that she knew that, and that she knew that it was Mr. Million just basically fucking with her. I'm like, just like how he's fucking with me, trying to text me off a text-free app, trying to intimidate me to not come. When we got off the phone, I literally had a pit in my stomach because I knew then I had fucked up again. Being way too nice and way too trusting, I should have known that the friend was playing me the entire time. When I pulled up to her shop, I literally lapped around a couple times because I said I got to check out the scene before I just pull up. I knew his bitch ass was trolling me, but I still had to make sure for my safety. I let her know that I was there, and when she came outside the building, we both were so hesitant towards each other because we really didn't know what was going on. I was looking every which way. I'm like, is this really about to be a setup? When we had got up to her suite, the door was shut, and when she had pushed it open, I literally held my breath. It ended up only being just us two there, and the TV, wall mount, rug was just sitting right there waiting on me. We sat there, chopped it up for a few seconds, laughed about it, and then she helped me take everything to my car. I was still trying to prove myself to her that I was not lying about what I had bought. My ass, I even brought the damn phone case box and the box for the little storage disc that he had brought. Once he had got in my car, he instantly opened half of that shit, and he had just left the boxes in the trash in my back seat. I literally didn't even realize until that day when I had went up there because I had cleaned my back seat out to put the TV in it. She didn't give a fuck about that shit. She told me she believed me. I was there for less than 20 to 30 minutes, but I left up out of there with the stuff. I barely made it halfway down the road. I get another text message from a different number. I'm like, okay, Mr. Million. One, you know whose number you're texting and who you're talking to. Two, you went to Google my name, and you found names associated with me. You thought you ate and found my dad, but William is my uncle. And I told you that my dad got into a motorcycle accident, not that he was sick. Three, you hope me and her can fight. For what? Then he calls me. I'm like, okay. So I called the detective that I had spoke with previously, told him about everything that was going on and if this was something that needed to be added to my case. He said that it wasn't relatable and that I needed to go to my local police department since it had happened here and not there. And also said that it hadn't been any updates on my case yet. It was already getting late by then, and I knew the police station would be closed by the time I got back. I texted the friend and I told him, "You've been playing both sides." And he replied and said, "No, he hadn't, and he's been at work, and he was about to call me. This man called me. Of course I did not answer." I had got home at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. I had been driving, adrenaline rushing, thoughts going crazy all day long. So I was just chilling out. As I'm doing that, I get another text message from a different number. Once he texted me this, I knew then that in fact and indeed that it was him texting and calling me all day long from all these different numbers. The total ended up being 4 different numbers. Not even 5 to 10 minutes after I get that text message, the friend texts me and asks, did I text him from a different number? I didn't respond at first, but then I thought to myself, did Mr. Million text his friend trying to act like he was me and on some other shit? So I just replied back and I said no. That next morning, the friend texted me and asked me, did you get all your stuff? I didn't even respond back to him. I blocked his number. Not even an hour later, I kid y'all not, my sister is calling me telling me that a random number done texted and called her phone. After she sent me this, I just went straight to the police station. I went to the police station, filed a report, and they just set a court date for me to go to get an EPO on him. They told me that it takes up to a week for them to file the police report, so I would have to wait until then to pick it up, and then the week after that, I would have the court date. As I was leaving from there, I had texted the now ex-girlfriend and let her know that I had just went and filed a report on him, and she told me that she had checked her Instagram DMs and seen that she got a message from a random girl. She said that she was fucked up for talking to me and that we were trying to set him up, and if anything were to happen to him, then it's up, and she was just letting bitches know. And I was just clutching my pearls. I was like, is this the girl that you have suspicions of, that you think that he's with wherever he's at? And she said yes. I was like, let me check my messages and see if I have a message too. And sure enough, I did. It was in my requests. This is the message that I had got. Then later on in the day, I get this text message, and an hour and a half after this message, I got a phone call. Of course, I didn't answer or respond. I already knew that it was Mr. Million trying to fuck with me and play games with me. I wanted to respond so bad, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this to court. 2 weeks had went by, and me and the now ex-girlfriend were texting, just checking in with each other, and she was telling me that she had talked to him, and he's still lying about everything. She said I just couldn't take the line anymore, and I stopped entertaining him, and I told him I'll just wish you the best. Then she said when they had talked that he told her that the friend was, of course, just basically playing both sides, and sometimes when me and him were on the phone that he had Mr. Million on three-way. The day that the now ex-girlfriend had played the recordings for me from their phone call, and my nice Nancy self had told the friend about it, when me and the friend were on the phone, he had Mr. Million on three-way. So that's what prompted Mr. Million to start making threats to his now ex-girlfriend, and that's what made her tell me to go on and come get the stuff that same day. I was just so mad at myself because I done got played again and I did not read the room right again. But I took full accountability for my dumbass actions.
That next day, I was just in my thoughts and in my head like I always was at that time. And in that moment, I was just like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm about to write this girl back that wrote me. He thinks he can have people writing me, threatening me. I'm about to respond back. She asked if it was cool to call me. I said that it was. As we were talking on the phone, she's telling me that the only reason why she was even in Texas with him at the time was because he asked her to fly out there to him. He told her, pay for your flight, I'll give you the money when you get here. She got there, he never paid her back. She was like, I even seen the camera from Best Buy myself. We were taking videos, pictures, all of that. She says, he even told me what to type up and tell y'all in those messages when I wrote you and the now ex-girlfriend on Instagram. I was not surprised at all because he is a bitch and that's what bitch ass niggas do. He thought he could turn all of us females against each other. I told her, I said he literally had you out here trying to defend a lie that he is going to try to take to the grave. Went back and forth with her, eventually got off the phone, and later on that week I had court for the EPO. I had went to court and it got continued because he hadn't been served yet. When I had went to the police station and they had looked him up, they had found several addresses for him, so they went to try to serve him there, but of course he wasn't there. I was just like, damn, I'm wondering how long this process is about to take and if they're even going to have luck with finding him. I just remained having faith, kept praying, kept telling myself everything was going to be okay, everything will work itself out, and that's when I considered getting myself into therapy. People talk down on it, make fun of it, and it's like it's taboo in black culture for some reason, but I knew that that was going to be the best thing for me to help me mentally and emotionally. Being vulnerable and transparent and expressing everything about yourself in life, I had just felt like it was just so beneficial and refreshing for me. One day my therapist had asked me about updates on my case and if I had spoke with the detective recently, and I told her I hadn't and that I would give him a call, and I did. When I called, he happened to be out on vacation and I asked to speak with the supervisor or someone, and I did. He pulls my case up and he says, well, it looks here that it's concluded and that the detective has closed it. I was just like, what? And how is that? When I last spoke with him, he didn't tell me that nothing was closed. He said that in the notes he just seen that it basically said my word versus his. I was pissed off. And I asked the supervisor, I'm like, so why didn't the detective call me and let me know that he closed the case? And he said he didn't know either why he didn't do that because that's something that they're supposed to do. Said that he was going to send him an email and let him know to reach out to me. I was just like, whatever, okay. I had already posted him in a group on Facebook that they have for women to let other women know to be aware of men out here like him. And I was like, you know what? They have a group for each state. I'm about to put him in every single group for each state. I had just felt like it was the right thing to do to try to bring awareness to this man. I had already had women writing me from the group about the post that I had made, but once I posted him in multiple states, more women began writing me. One girl even sent me this disgusting post that he made on Instagram, and she said that this is another way that it seems that he targets women. I continued with therapy and my healing journey. About a month later, my friend had sent me something that came across their FYP. Once I seen that, I was like, okay. Now he should be a changed man, right? And he should be ready to admit to his wrongs, right? I was like, if he got baptized, then he must be a God-fearing man now, and he's changed. I knew I couldn't reach out to him, though, due to my case against him with the EPO. I had reached out again to one of his relatives that I was able to get in contact with. No, I shouldn't have done that, but yes, I did. I said, I'm not trying to bother, and I understand that this has nothing to do with you all, but all I'm asking from his family is to just ask him to do the right thing. That's it. I had never got a response. When I woke up in the middle of the night, I woke up to comments underneath my posts on Instagram from a fake page. I had seen the comments in my notification center on my phone, and the main one that I had seen was him saying I was a sorry ass excuse of a prostitute.
So I clicked on it, and when I clicked on it, it had disappeared, went away, whatever. And that's when I realized that he had deleted that comment, but he had still had all the other comments up. I already knew that it was Mr. Million fucking with me again. I did not put it past him because if he's already texted me from text-free app numbers, I knew that this was him on this fake page. That's when I realized that holy water that he had got dunked in did not work. And he is still the same person and he did not change. 2 days later after that, I was in my head and in my thoughts, and I was like, you know what? It's time to tell my story. This man done everything in his power to try and break me down. It was a nice try, and he almost got me, but I couldn't let that happen. Since I've been telling my story, he's tried to intimidate me to silence, but that's not going to happen either. Now, the picture that he had posted that he took without my consent, that almost got me. And that's the reason why a lot of women haven't came forward, because he has pictures and videos of them as well. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep talking about it. Oh, and just recently, I got another text message and call from another different random number. I really thought I was getting punked. For real. I was like, he cannot be serious. And that's another reason why women don't want to come forward, because of those type of actions. But I'm just going to speak for everyone. Everything that I'm about to post are messages from people that have seen my story and reached out to me. They've came in encounter with this man and they're sharing their experiences with him.